All right, and we are back at it again. Welcome back, everyone, to Millennial Tavern. Is it working? The audio?
Hi, Millennial Tavern.
Hi, Millennial Tavern. We are back at it, and we are going to be playing more D&D. Sorry about the little hiatus. It had a little bit of an issue. We had, kind of the holidays, and then also people getting sick, and then me getting ailments, and that kind of pushed things back a little bit. But we're back at it again, playing more D&D per the use. Here we are. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit. What happened? Because it has been a little bit since we played last. So what's transpired? What was the last things we kind of recall? There was a cat running through the city. I remember that.
Yep.
There was what was it? The party ended up going off to the library and kind of revisiting the library a little more, learning a couple new things. Mm-hmm. You guys discussed some things. You told a battle story, and then you guys decided to head out to places. What were you guys doing? All in the shitty soundstone. What happened?
Yeah, so we discussed some forbidden knowledge, forbidden knowledge gained from the library, per se, I should mention. And kind of chatted it out a little bit, made sure that everybody was caught up with each other's business for the most part, trying to get everybody on the same page. We're like, oh, we need to get Reginald to the arena at some point. Also, we should probably stop and maybe get some extra goods,
magic items,
potentially.
Reward for saving Zephyrus.
Yep. Trying to follow up with
I'm
him.
not doing that. Y'all are doing that.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we're gonna do that. So yeah, and then we started heading that way. We saw some commotion going on in the city. So we looked into it a little bit. Saw that some guards were trying to apprehend this person, some like not refugee, but person of interest. A little background to it is that I went and did some digging around the city while I was presumed dead. Found out some info that the mayor of the town, what was his name, Wuhan the Bold, was talking to some of the Imperials at the docks.
Yes.
And the Imperials were all like, "Hey, we want you to hand over any traitors to us." And he's like, "Nah, I can't do that, dog." They're like, "Okay, well,
Not happening, bro.
we kind of want that.
Sorry, Tarks.
All right, well, here's what we'll do. We'll take them, and we'll put them in the fighting pit to die. Well, they'll fight for their lives." And they're like, "Okay, sure, I guess." So he sent his men to go look around the city on any suspicious.
There was one key note that you missed. He made mention to the general actually that he was talking to, which you were there kind of overhearing the conversation, and did make offers to the general or somebody in the staff if they wanted to be in attendance to ensure that this was carried out. Then that could be arranged. You don't know if it will be, but it was offered.
Right. I don't think I wrote that part down, but yeah, they want an Imperial there.
Write that down.
So, yeah, they discussed that Imperial wants to be present to see that it gets done. So, lo and behold, next day, as we're walking around, the guardsmen seem to have apprehended a supposed Imperial traitor. So, as we tried to look further into it, we kind of heckled a little bit, not gonna lie. We did.
You definitely antagonized.
We instigated
100% did, yep.
What are you talking about?
Fucking rush him! And he kind of pulled out a little doodad, and some illusory magic happened with this contraption, and we got pulled into like a little pocket dimension. Is what it seemed.
Gorilla.
And fought a big monkey man with 4 arms. Totally not a scary fight whatsoever. Not at all.
Not at all.
At least he didn't have foreskin.
He was like phasing in and out of reality. It looked like as everything seemed to be in this suspended state.
Yeah.
You guys, if you miss a jump, you just kind of fell infinitely and eventually crashed down, taking some lovely bludgeoning damage.
I love it.
Felt good.
Feels so good.
Indeed.
So
That's when I made a jetpack.
Yes.
I cannot fly. Yep.
I totally engineered it.
Totally engineered it.
100%.
That fight ensued. We were able to beat the giant monkey man by
Polymorphing.
polymorphing it into
A giant rat.
Giant.
After Arthur decided to grab it. Grab the creature.
I don't
at
think
some
he
point.
decided to. I think he grabbed the orb.
Oh, you grabbed the
to
orb
Yeah, you
in
grabbed the
small
orb.
places, and then I transformed him into a giant rat. And then we put him in the bag of holding.
Yeah, I saw the orb and I was just put my hands on it and polish it a little.
Polish it a little bit. There we go.
And then your arm started glowing.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty lit.
And
Pretty
you got
lit.
spell
Felt pretty
slots
good
back.
about it. Pretty good.
And then after about 10-ish minutes like that of this rat being in a bag of holding, everything got dispelled.
Well, we kept hitting the target. We kept hitting the boat.
You did.
I thought it was.
Yep, you kept
And
hitting the
then
hill too.
It went down.
Oh, that's
and
right.
then
You guys
destroyed, and that's how it came. We came out.
Yep. Yep. So then everything as we end up hitting the ball and moving around. Eventually, the entirety of this arena ended up just kind of dispelling, and it looks like as you end up basically just falling to the ground in this area, you're kind of just dazed and you're not familiar with. You're watching as it looks like these bricks and these trees and these buildings are all just falling around you in the middle of what you assume to be the center of Shadowstone as everything comes hurtling down. And that's where we ended. Anything else you guys want to add before we go?
Nope. That's it.
Yeah.
You have about 4 hours before your fight.
Thereabouts?
Was it 4?
It's a little bit more than 4, but yeah, thereabouts.
4.5.
1
4 hours and 20
4
minutes.
hours and 2 minutes.
Right. So, as we go ahead and resume our adventure, the three of you ended up falling to the ground, dodging all of these bricks and stones and buildings as they come crashing down. You watch as what looks like one of the walls that you were once leaning up against falls right before you and just shatters into a bunch of tiny bricks as you're almost trying to scurry out of the way and make sure you don't get hit by anything. You watch as it looks like timber falls and shatters into two, splintering and shooting these shards out into the little bits of the crowd. As you look around, it looks like the crowd has still existed and still remains, but they've pushed out even farther away. You end up realizing that it looks like over the course of this time and movement, as you kind of get your bearing, you see what is the ocean. You see what is the actual Eye of Exrath. It seems like you've actually been carried quite a ways in this contraption. You're sitting basically in the dock area that you'd have been actually when you ended up getting your imprisonment not too long ago. As everything's crashing around, the people are staring from a distance. The crowds are completely surrounding you, and it looks like as everything finally begins to settle, you see what is a pile of looks like gold and steel and iron. It just kind of begins falling and collapsing. It looks like energy and magic just begins shooting out and eventually ceases. It looks like gears and components just sit there in the center. And you look at the guards jumping on top of this individual as they're basically dogpiling the man who threw this crystal on the ground.
I start picking up gold. I look for anything shiny.
Here we're looking through the heap of components.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just seeing if there's actually I'm looking specifically for magical items.
Okay.
I would just be grabbing some gold.
Roll Arcana.
That is a 26.
A 26. Okay.
Okay.
That's how we're starting.
So you are going to end up finding one piece. You're just kind of like shuffling through a bunch of these like little gears of rebel, and this one piece just really stands out to you. And as you pick it up, you almost feel like it's just completely radiating, comprised of magic. But as you kind of begin to like push your fingers into it, it almost seems to kind of squeeze like a goo. And then as you kind of pull your fingers out, it looks like it kind of pulsates a little bit. It's this little wave of magic begins to kind of come across your arms. You feel a cooling sensation as the hairs on your forearms begin to stand upright.
Okay.
So you don't have identify or anything. So just go ahead and.
I do have identify.
Okay, well you can cast identify if you want, but that's like a 10-minute cast, I think, right?
Yeah, it's a ritual.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be more than 10 minutes then.
You can cast it as a ritual spell
Yeah.
or use the spell slot to
Or use
cast
my page. I need to be reloaded. Hold on.
Yeah, you're good. So, but you're looking at maybe doing that. So, what do you guys want to do? Is everything's kind of settling around you?
I'm looking for that pile as well.
Okay.
I'm gonna look over to the pile and I'm just gonna throw myself on the ground, just fall asleep. Oh my god, the ground! Oh my god, I'm not gonna be falling. I didn't know I was gonna miss the ground so much. Just shoves gold in the pocket.
All right. So I want both of you. All right. So I want you to roll performance really quick, and you're just gonna be kind of like shuffling through it a little bit. I want you to roll investigation while you're rolling performance.
on my performance.
8. All right. So as you end up just kind of jumping on this pile and begin kind of like shuffling everything in, you feel like you've done a great job. It looks like some of the people in the crowd begin kind of giving you an eye as whispers begin to kind of start echoing across the chamber.
I'm fighting in the arena. I don't give a shit about you guys right now. I'll fight you too.
All right. So go ahead and just roll a sleight of hand. So what would you roll for investigation?
I got a 14.
14. Okay, yeah. So as you're kind of looking through, nothing's really particularly standing out. You're able to grab a couple of miscellaneous components and everything. As you're grabbing these pieces, it looks like you're probably able to grab a total of maybe like 50 silver worth of miscellaneous gears. 17. So as you're going through and just kind of snagging everything that you can, you're going to end up feeling as if you've gotten roughly like 100 silver pieces worth of miscellaneous components.
1 minute to cast.
All right. Yeah, I'll let you actually go ahead and cast it.
I did.
No, I mean,
Oh, okay.
I'm letting you timing wise to have been able to cast it. So read to me, identify again. I want to make sure I'm giving you.
You choose one object that you must touch throughout the casting of the spell. If it is a magic item or some other magic imbued object, you learn its properties and how to use them, whether it requires attunement to use, and how many charges it has, if any. You learn whether any spells are affecting the item and what they are. If the item was created by a spell, you learn which spell was created. If you instead touch a creature, that doesn't matter.
Okay. So it doesn't look like this thing was actually created by some kind of a spell, but as you're kind of examining it, it looks like it is a housing of extreme arcane energy. It almost feels as if, like, well, you can't really quantify the amount of spells that would be potentially imbued in this thing. It feels like it has maybe 10, 50, 100 spells worth of magic condensed into one ball.
100. The fuck?
And you're going to end up recognizing that what you're holding is actually what is referred to as a construct soul.
Better write that shit down. Right
It's like soul as in S-O-U-L, soul? Okay. Is that an actual item in D&D? Okay.
It's customized.
That's fine. Okay. You guys know what that actually is?
Nope.
Okay.
Fuck no.
All right. So as the three of you end up going through this, you're going to end up hearing as one of the guards says, "All right, we got him. Pick him up. Get him up." You're going to watch as it looks like a couple of the guards just begin basically dragging this individual away.
Oi! Hey, don't make sure he doesn't throw anything this time.
Don't worry, he's all tied up. We got him. As they begin kind of dragging away, you're going to start feeling the ground begins to shake as this giant automatron begins walking over toward it. It says, "Citizen, do not resist." As this automatron basically just goes down and grabs him by what look like these bindings in the back of his arms, and he's basically being held and suspended. It's just going to grab those things that are just pulling up back on his shoulders, and just going to start dragging him the rest of the way towards the prison, which is not ridiculously far away. But the entire ground is going to be kind of rattling as one of the guards walks up to you saying, "What are you doing over here? You inside that thing? Is that what it was?"
Yeah, we finished it. We killed it. We stopped him from escaping.
It was like falling an eternity inside there. As I'm still just on the ground, just crushing it. Oh, I'm so happy to be on the ground.
You use magic in the city limits, though.
I mean, it was either that or death.
Magic within the city limits is not allowed.
We were in an illusionary area where we thought we had been transported out of the city once we started casting magic.
We weren't in. Right, we were not in the city.
We didn't start doing anything until after we were in a different area.
Roll performance.
That is a...
Or persuasion, sorry.
This is best.
18.
17.
17, 18? Okay.
Nice guy.
It would have been lower if it was for
Alright,
once.
you might not be within the city limits, but... Oh, get off their back. Come on. It's fine. You're going to watch as another one ends up kind of walking. We're actually going to recognize the face of one of the scaled legionnaires that's inside there with you. "I helped out the city. They did a great deed. Let them be. There's no problem with what they did here."
Thank you, good sir.
"We will have to bring you in for questioning, but they're Just that.
Well, if that's what we must do for Shadowstone, the city, then we must.
You
Very
can't
good.
miss this fight, though.
Terribly sorry. What was that?
I'd rather not.
This
say-
one has a fight in the next few hours.
Let me. You're gonna watch this. Goes over and grabs you by the arm and goes to pull your sleeve up.
Oh,
By the gods! You're the one that came back to life.
that I am. There I am in the land of the living once again.
Roll performance really quick.
You keep wanting me to do a performance, god damn it! Ah! 1. I had a 2.
Inspiration?
I don't have any.
Help action?
I'm tapped out.
We are so thankful that he came
That's-
back to life.
Yeah. Just gonna watch you just kind of drops your arm.
Not quite the reaction I was going for, but alright.
I hope you're a better fighter than you are charismatic.
Yeah, I guess.
Oddly said.
His fighting is truly what's more inspiring, as you all saw within whatever weird dimension we were in.
Did you even do that?
I would recommend you just speaking for him in the future.
I honestly don't remember.
Typically do, but we won't have to get into it. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Good luck with that one there.
Wish you
Well-
said in character.
We do need to come over here, please. So if you'll walk with me.
Well, alright, I guess we're still following along here.
So as he kind of begins walking, you're gonna watch as one or two other scale legionnaires kind of get behind you, and they're just gonna kind of usher you through what is this nice little dock. You end up realizing that these cobblestones and everything are pretty big, pretty dense. It's nothing really comfortable to even walk on. As you're kind of walking, it feels like you're losing your bearing, just kind of trying to step between the grooves. You realize stepping on any of the cobblestones will just immediately slip, and you potentially risk hurting yourself. So you're really just trying to step in between the cracks as you're going through. But eventually you end up getting to this little shack right over off next to the water. And as you get over to the shack, you have the door open for you and you're able to walk inside. You see what is a kind of a subsection of tables sitting off over there, and then a little entry area that seems to have a little window. It looks like as you end up being ushered up in there, the guard's going to walk up to this window right inside the doorway and say, "We just need to question them really quick. Can we grab from the side rooms?" "But of course. Go on your way." "Thank you, Nat. Come on, Nat. You're good." He's gonna usher you in as you kind of walk past these tables, and he pushes you over towards this little side door.
This is still the guy that was down there with us.
Yep.
What's going on here? This seems a bit very secluded.
It is quite secluded. We basically just need to ask you a couple questions. It's standard procedure for anyone who was involved in an incident in the city.
Okay, what can we do? What's your first question?
Well, take your seats, please. Would you like anything to drink?
Your wine.
I'm
If we had wine, we'd be drinking it, friend.
Well, good thing I saved this from the bag of holding. Not think about anything rat related. Pull out a wine bottle, a carafe of wine that I did snag from the hotel.
You did. You did.
Just 20 cups for this?
If you care to share.
Well, you and any of your other friends want a glass?
Maybe we just keep this in here then. I'll be right back.
More for us.
You watch as he just kind of walks outside the room and leaves you in there alone for a second.
So are we, like, how tiny of a room are we in?
It's not ridiculously tiny. I'd say it's probably a little bit smaller than this. Like the room we're actually sitting in right here. Probably about half the size, maybe a little bit more than half.
Maybe they'll give us a reward for helping and saving the city.
Well, we'll polish him up very well with this
Wine.
bottle of wine here, but what I need to figure out next is, well, I guess really we just need to ask if we can just get back into the city real quick. Since we were all displaced.
Let's hope this doesn't take too long.
Answer his questions and be out quick.
There's nothing fishy about anything beyond, the whole occurrence itself, but I don't know what else there is to be concerned about.
Roll perception.
Say hi, everybody.
Rolling really well tonight already.
21.
11.
So both of you are going to end up hearing something. You're going to end up hearing is, it looks like there's some kind of footsteps coming in, and immediately you're just going to hear somebody just kind of bellow in the room next to you. It's like, hold up!
All up?
Yep. Then a couple seconds later,
Oh.
you're going to hear footsteps begin kind of walking in your direction as Arthur's still talking.
Wait, what? Someone's coming.
Someone important.
Someone important's coming.
It sounded more like a. Everybody get up and. Yeah, okay. Yeah, all up. That's what I heard.
Offer him some wine.
He did.
So as you guys are kind of having this little conversation yourself, you're end up watching this individual ends up walking up to the front of the door. The person standing in the doorway you're going to end up seeing is donning very intricate dragon armor. Looks like he has massive horns coming out of the sides. And as you end up seeing, it looks like he has a giant black coat that's just kind of going and draping all the way across. Looks like it's entirely made out of furs. The individual ends up having a very nice silverly beard that's coming across and through. And as he ends up walking and standing there in the doorway, he has like a really triumphant demeanor about him. It seems very confident and very, very ready to get this over with.
What was his name?
Oh, was it the
Yeah,
wait, was it the
guy in the
that,
square who
Yes.
did the whole-
Hold on.
Yeah,
What?
Um,
Guy in the square.
hold on. Yeah,
Was I
that.
part of this?
No.
Okay.
Uh,
Has he walked in the room yet?
He's standing in the doorway right now.
But we're just trying to remember out of game, I guess.
You can roll history if you want.
I want to roll history.
Okay.
Whoa, that's a 27.
You actually remember who this man is. He's actually the leader of the Scale Legionnaires. And he's also owner of the tavern, Cheers, in the city. You know him as Oleg Narrowstrong.
Bullet?
Oleg
Oleg.
Narrowstrong. And because you rolled so high, I'll give you this too. You know that his Legionnaire name is Ra.
Raw?
Ra.
Is this armor magical? Does it look like it has magical properties?
I can't identify on it for
No.
Let's hold for a moment,
Hold, please.
And he stands on the door, you're going to hear some. So who the law do you then?
That was a serious question. Does this armor actually look like magical?
Roll Arcana for me.
Like that, yeah. Nope.
Okay. So who the law do you then?
We were the lucky ones that were able to help in assisting in the capture of the gentleman you had in the other room.
I beg your pardon, Elf. I'm familiar with who you are, but I'm more curious who you actually are. Your names, your papers, please.
Cassian, here you go.
Very good.
I'm Arthur.
As he grabs your paper, you're gonna watch he just kind of pulls over and swings open the chair. Pleasure to meet you, Arthur.
Stone.
You, sir.
Pleasure mine.
Stone.
Reginald, sir.
And you're the fighter.
Correct, sir.
It's not often I get to meet one of the fighters from the pits. When they mentioned this, I ensured I'd head right over. This is more formality, really. I'm sorry to inconvenience your day.
No inconvenience. That's some exquisite armor you're wearing.
Thank you. I killed quite the black dragon to get this.
Very formidable there.
Yes.
Now,
These horns coming out of my shoulders are actually from what was thought to be the largest black dragon in the entirety of the Eye of Exrath.
not every day that you get to see remnants of what was a black dragon.
Most don't.
Tell us, did you take part in bringing down the dragon?
But of course. Do you know how Scale Legionnaires become the Scale Legionnaires?
Do not.
When we end up taking our oaths and going through training, we eventually get sent off into the Eye of Exrath. It is at that time that we're sent on pursuit of a dragon. That we must go ahead and actually slay. And the dragons we slay and bring back are forged into our armors. That we don here in the city as a symbol of our accomplishments and our feats. It instills a calming presence within the folks of our dear beloved city of Shadow.
Seems like quite a task.
So I understand that you are not from here. But it's very custom when people of authority are speaking, you do not interrupt or fidget.
Apologize.
You lived here for a little bit.
I have. Quite a while. I mainly lived on the outskirts and slums outside the city walls.
It is a shame some of us with our birthrights. They are not becoming of what we deserve. But the arena offers an opportunity. You watch as what looks like one of the Scale Legionnaires kind of walks with a couple glasses. Ah, lovely. You watch as he grabs a couple of the glasses and spreads them on the table. And the wine? You brought the wine? But of course, yes. See, as he just kind of starts scurrying around, begins pouring the glasses full of wine right in front of you. Now then, you were saying? Watch as he just kind of grabs a goblet and begins taking a sip.
Oh, right. I go and reach for a glass. Thank you, sir. But yes, like I was
Please,
saying,
call me Ra.
Raw. Pleasure. Like I was saying before, I do still live in the city, though I did have to take some time away as I studied in a monastery with the monks for a few years. I did have to come back, however, because my wife did fall ill.
I've heard of what became your wife. My sincerest apologies and condolences.
As much appreciated.
Is that her there?
Hmm?
Is that her?
I have no idea.
Yeah, your wife is so home.
Okay. Yes, sir. That is her.
Can she understand me?
She can.
I'm so sorry what's happened to you. What's befallen you. Just know we have made greater efforts in the Blight District to ensure plagues and ailments cease. Do not spread.
Just go over and just grab it by the
Well, I mean, there is a way of bringing her back.
There is.
Things we could use some assistance
Look.
with, perhaps.
Nothing short of a miracle, I'm sure.
And a miracle is what we're desperately needing right now. You see, I'm in search for quite some wondrous items at the moment, and I feel...
I do not mean to interrupt, but I did not come to hear of your blights in great detail.
Of course, you're a very busy man. Please tell us, how can we further help you? We'll get your day going faster.
Well, one of the biggest things, I have no need for filing extra paperwork and reading over it, because it will be on my desk here eventually anyways. So, just tell me briefly what happened. You got sucked into a dimension, I'm hearing.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the gentleman reach out and throw something on the ground. I tried to scream past everybody, but nobody could hear me. And then all of a sudden, we got transported into, and this construct just formed, and then everything it touched got transported.
The construct, you mean the ape-like creature?
Yes. And more than that, it was a lot of illusory magic. And from what we could tell, it was manipulating more than just illusions. Inside this pocket dimension, it seemed to have complete control over everything around it. We're not sure what this creature is or the nature, but we intend to find out. Perhaps we can be given maybe some sort of extra leave on your behalf in order to find out the answer to what this creature was. That this refugee, this I don't even know what you call it, convict, decided to unleash upon the city and entrap us with.
Roll persuasion.
It's not 20.
Hell yeah.
Did you have a compelling argument? Arthur, was it?
That is correct.
Wait a minute.
Waiting for it. Sorry.
God, I'm trying to let your back pause with this guy, and you're just like... So, your name was Arthur, was it?
That is correct.
I like your demeanor. You remind me of somebody that I know.
Somebody good, perhaps? Or, hopefully, this is a compliment.
I find him to be quite good. High status. Hold him in high regards myself, but that's neither for me or the gods to say. But you're quite persuasive. Fine. I'll allow you a little grace in the city. I'm trying to figure out where this origin is, where it's from. Prefer if it didn't happen again. Maybe it's a dead end, perhaps it's not. I would recommend actually going and speaking with potentially Zephyrus, his magic and law establishment. He knows a great deal about magic. There's also a potion shop and alchemy place. I don't go there much, but it might be good talking to her as well. If you're wishing to be of assistance, which it sounds as if you are.
We very much are willing and able. Of course, after the fight is over.
But of course, I cannot offer much coin for this matter, but your assistance would be greatly appreciated during these dire times. Security of the city is held at the utmost forefront of our minds. With the amount of refugees that have been pouring in, our numbers have been cut thin.
Will you be attending the fights this evening?
But of course,
Would you perhaps like some additional company from the likes of Cassine and myself? We do have the papers, of course, to be there.
I did notice that you have the diamond papers. Do you already have passes yourself?
Yes, as a part of our friend Reginald's retinue, if you will.
Do you already have tickets into the arena?
Indeed, secured by his own manager, who's not with us now, but...
Manager, you say? Interesting. Well, let me see your tickets.
She has the tickets, unfortunately.
That is a
Alas,
predicament.
since we were out here dealing with all of this buzz, she did not have the fortunate pleasure of being thrown outside of the city through some sort of portal.
Well,
Wasn't she?
let me ask this. Out of just curiosity, what are your thoughts on the Lord and his court? Favorable? Unfavorable? Neutral?
He fights a very, very important war against these Imperials that like to seem to want to conquer anything they can for whatever righteous reason they come up with on their own and convince themselves of, justify it to themselves, propagandize it to everyone, and assume everyone's going to assimilate. And everyone's so upset when...
You're getting rather verbose with your answer, Arthur. I appreciate what you're saying, but you're no politician. Get to the point, please.
Well, I prefer the Lord over the Empire.
What say you?
Oh, I'm very neutral.
And you?
Does whatever it takes to keep this people safe. Respectful.
When you get to the gates, tell them Commander Raw said, cheers is allowed.
Jesus. Isn't that the name of your establishment?
It is. And you'll be allowed into my... Well, normally it's partly randomized unless you special request, but Cheers is actually catering that diamond box, and I'll ensure that you're in it. But, given how it is, I might not be there the entire duration. Security's a lot more tight given all the refugees. Given some new circumstances that are arising at the fight, some of the preliminary fights are being shaken up. So I might need to attend to some things while I'm there. But you'll at least be in my personal box, catered to by Cheers itself.
Lovely. Thank you so much.
Please do feel free to speak with me if you find me there.
Appreciate it.
We will, and thank you for your patronage.
Not a problem. But enough time's wasted here. You watch, he just kind of stands up and begins chugging the rest of this wine. Slams it on the table. I'll be off. Good luck in the fight, you.
Thank you, sir.
Remember, the dragon's fury can only be carried so far. It is us who carry it the rest of the way.
It will be fury.
You watch as he just turns around and walks out the room.
The other guard's still there?
Looks like there's like guards kind of just hanging out in the lobby area, but there's not other guards staying there.
Not the guy who walked us in.
Looks like he's gone.
There's some,
So is that it? Can we get up and...
not sure, but there was some interrogation, if you can call it an interrogation.
I mean, we're going to be sitting with him as we watch you win. I think we could probably just take this as a get up and walk out.
Well, yeah.
Before we... anything else.
Just wasn't expecting we would, you know,
You're gonna be
sit down with the leader of the scale legionnaires and walk out, inviting us to his personal box at the arena. Don't get me wrong. I'm counting my blessings where they are. It could have ended a lot
Well,
worse.
it seems, more friendly than I would have expected. I half expected him to be a bit of an ass or a hard ass or something, but he wasn't even that bad.
When
Still,
you do good things, you get good things sent back to you in return.
well, hope that was a good thing.
Well, I think it's good to have.
I definitely don't think it's a bad thing having him as a friend.
No, I'm sorry. He something about the pauldrons, the armor is just quite intimidating. To me a little bit, but I digress. Right. Well, I guess we can ask the guards if we can.
I just start getting up and walking
walking out of the room.
okay.
All right. He's cool.
As you begin to kind of walk out the room, you see as like one of the guards was kind of sitting there, and one of the tables talking to one of the guards. It's like they're sipping on something out of a mug. You have a great day now.
Thank you. And I just keep going. I just walk out.
I just look at Cassian just walking down the hall. I'm like, are you still in the room?
I mean, I got up and
Come on.
I'll slowly,
go.
I'll meander out.
So.
Dust myself off a little. Kind of. Is there a mirror in this room I can look at? Maybe.
Super vain. I love it.
I would actually say no, there isn't, but you know that the glasses and the chalice that you're holding were actually really well polished. So you would be able to kind of hold it up and fix your hair and everything.
Hold it up and.
Are we? We're kind of like in a dungeon, police station. Like I'm trying to think of it actually.
Yeah, kind of like that. You can think of it like a police station.
Yeah. Can I look around and see if there's any health potions just kind of hanging out? I'm not gonna. I want to know what's
He wants to
around.
observe.
I want to look around.
Yeah, sure.
To
So
see
you
if
can look around as you're kind of like walking through. Yeah. So go ahead and roll investigation.
I'm walking at it.
that is a 17.
Okay. So, as you're walking out, you're going to end up realizing that there's not a whole lot just on display, but you are going to end up seeing what is kind of behind the counter in some of these areas, or just in some of the side little like nooks of these rooms. You see little chests that you don't really know what's in there, but you see these chests lying there. But you also end up seeing what is just a layer of swords just kind of ready to be taken off the rack. But all of these swords are going to end up having, well, they're different sizes, some of them being short, long swords, and one or two great swords. They're all going to have these ornate carvings on it, which seems like it has like a dragon biting on to the edge of this the hilt. That seems like it kind of spirals down and then eventually comes to two wings sprouting out the sides that eventually leads to the blade.
And I wonder whose sword that is.
Alright, so no potions. Okay!
Yeah.
I really wasn't looking for anything, so my character's not gonna.
Okay. Alright.
I wanted a potion. I was gonna ask for a potion, but they don't have.
Gotcha. Alright,
I'll just.
so you're walking out?
Yep. I'll walk out as well. I find dark.
And walked out.
So the three of you end up walking out, and you're standing what looks like the actual like harbor itself. You're basically standing in right on next to the coast. You end up smelling a bit of seawater that kind of just barely touches your nostrils. Looks like the ports themselves are not too busy, at least at this time of day. But as you look over off into the actual sea, it looks like the stones of Shadow Stone are casting shadows on everything but you, as you're standing in what must be a small little in-between area where the light's actually able to get through.
Lovely evening. All things considered.
Yes. I suggest we should try to finish what we need to accomplish for the rest of the day before I have to go off into
Well,
the
we need to go to Zephyrus, magic and more.
Yes. Same.
Indeed.
That's probably the first stop we should do.
We have to get through the gates again.
Oh, I don't think we have any trouble with that.
Yeah, just go that way. Hope not to run into any other
How are you doing?
business
Are
along the way.
you need to rest before your fight?
Yeah. I mean, I think I can rest at the arena. I just might need just like at least an hour for myself.
If it comes to it, let me know.
Oh.
You have that fancy spell.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, that's right. Oh. Yeah.
Well,
Maybe
probably
more
safe
secluded.
in Zephyrus where there's already magic going on.
Yeah, that would probably be wise.
Needed, if needed, if not.
I kind of
Quick little cat nap, as it would not be the West.
kind of don't want to be put in one of these cells over here by the docks again. Not really.
It's a bit stinky.
Yeah.
The scent, I'll never get used
You
to
know,
it.
you could
Ugh.
person. I heard someone died there at the cells. And,
Ugh.
you know, they got taken out.
It was like he was eaten, then
Oh.
died.
And then
Is
dumped,
that the story?
yeah, and then dumped on the beach. No.
Well, let's make our way to Zephyrus. Okay. And I start walking. I probably really never stopped walking. We're walking and talking. Like, come on, let's go.
All right, that's fair.
So as you end up getting to the gate, you're gonna end up seeing as one of the guards says, "Hello there, welcome."
Oh, hi, beautiful day. Here you go. You ready?
Oh no, your papers are actually fine. I recognize your suit. Commander Raw mentioned that a gentleman and 3 companions would be coming through. He mentioned your suit right there. So
He did. Well, thank you.
Commander Raw, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your time in Shadowstone.
He's a flower.
Oh,
Thank you so much. Just go.
okay. So as you start like kind of walking through, you're end up overhearing a little bit as he kind of leans over to one of the guards. I've never been head of the floor by a man before.
Fucking outdrew me, you fuck. I hate that I didn't take that fucking cantrip, but I can later on.
All right. So as the 3 of you end up basically just walking right through the gates going into Avon Bay, you're eventually able to get into the main courtyard area right in front of the fountain over there in the center of Shadowstone. And I'm assuming you're going to be walking over to Magic and More?
Yep.
Yeah.
I kind of want to, like, as we're walking, just trying to keep the staying with like what I heard in the past between like the Lord or just stands out.
The Lord or anything?
Like, for example, like any talk about like the Empire or better yet, the faces, not the
Blighted Lords?
The Blighted Lords, yes.
Okay. Yeah, so go ahead and roll. Go ahead and roll perception as you're walking through.
Sure. Perception. Those 23.
23?
Yes.
Yeah, so actually, as you're walking through the city, you're going to end up overhearing a little tiny piece of the conversation that kind of just draws you in for a second.
Okay.
You're going to end up hearing is, you know, I actually heard it. Yes. My sister ends up running into one of the members of the Lord's Court in the city. It was in the noble district, but it was quite nice. You're going to end up kind of hearing that as you're walking by. Anything you want to do?
He's gonna find that woman. What did you just say? Well, hey, what did you say?
You want to try to slow down?
Yeah, I'm gonna slow down just once. I'm like, where is she standing at exactly? Is she standing like that? I just want to stand.
Sure. So it actually looks
Sure.
like she's standing kind of off next to one of these buildings. It looks like the building itself isn't really anything special. You're kind of trying to make out what the sign says. And it looks like this particular shop might end up being something where it's like maybe they polish armor, or maybe they polish boots. Maybe they repair boots. It's just kind of a shop that she's standing on. Sorry.
All right, I kind of want to pull off maybe like 10 feet away from her, but like you just almost pull my bag out and just kind of rummage through, just looking up and down, like kind of trying to count something on my bag.
Okay.
While I'm trying to listen.
Sure. So as you're doing that, you're able to kind of pick up a little more of the conversation. No, that's not actually the case. I heard that the Lord and his court were nowhere near the city. No, I'm telling you. He actually was there. The Lord himself, no, but I think he must be close. I mean, Nathaniel's one of those reigning members of the Lord's court. I'm telling you, when I went to the city, he was there. Well, this was, of course, when the whole city of Pike was still there, but no, I saw him, and then I described what it was to my sister, and she swore that was the same man. He was, in fact, all in the same armor. I mean, is it all that surprising that they would evacuate the city and come over to Shadowstone? It's no doubt of the realm of possibility, I suppose, but it doesn't seem right. Didn't Ram the Bold come out and say that this was not what they were doing? Yes, but he's trying to protect the Lord. He doesn't want them to get soiled or foiled. He knows they're up to something, and they're going to flush out the Empire. Why do you think they just arrested somebody in the square? It's all calculated by Uham and the Lord, I know it is. Well, now you're just getting conspiratorial, sorry. You can't go doing this. What's your roll stealth?
Oh no, at him.
23 as well.
So as this is happening, you feel like the conversation is beginning to kind of slow down a little bit. And you're noticing a couple of eyes just going off over you. So it looks like you're able to stay there this entire time. It looks like people are kind of noticing that you're still kind of hanging out.
Okay. Alright. I think I heard what I just needed to hear. We're just gonna join the rest of the group.
Where did
afterwards.
Reginald? Hurry up! Come on!
Huh? Oh, sorry, just making sure I had something in my bag.
Let's go!
So as you begin walking away too, I want you to roll perception.
9.
9?
9.
Okay.
No, sorry, 10.
10? Okay. So as you're walking away, it's kind of hard for you to hear anything else as the muffle of the city noise and casting is kind of... You have to find your way back to the group.
Sorry, got distracted a little bit. Heard mention of someone seeing a member of the Lord's Court in the city. I think it was maybe Nathaniel that she saw. So,
Who's Nathaniel?
right, Arthur.
He's one of the commanders of the Lord's Court. One of, if you will, one of the top lieutenants to the Lord himself. So,
From the holdout city of Pike.
okay.
We had an altercation a while back. They almost killed you guys?
Yes, the Empire. We
So roll d5 on
the Empire chased us out of the holdout city of Pike. We
6.
were able to escape, but only because we got them off our trail with giving them somebody who identified themselves as Nathaniel. So we don't know if this Nathaniel that's here, that's being spotted apparently in the city, because this was the case even at the arena the first time when we were here with the very first day. He was spotted, and so we don't know which Nathaniel was the real one at this point. But either way, it seems quite common knowledge that Nathaniel is part of the Lord's Court, and if he's here, then in official capacity, if he's in his fully donned armor.
Arthur Nightshade, there you are! You're gonna end up looking as what looks like Margaret is just open arms walking up towards you as you finish that statement.
My love.
Oh, Margaret, my dearest, welcome,
Oh, you watch she's just kind of going, mwah.
sweetheart. How has your morning been? How has your afternoon been?
Are you safe? Are you okay?
No.
She's just kind of patting you over. You were attacked by that beast and you just disappeared.
Well, beast summoned by some sort of imperial agent of sorts.
We worried we lost you for good. Oh, by the gods, I'm so happy you're okay.
We're okay too.
Oh,
Yes, Reginald.
I
Ames,
do
of
not
course.
mean any offense. I'm so
No
sorry.
worries. No mistake.
How's your alchemy coming along?
It was going very, very well. I mean, last we spoke, I was following you through the city and you were gone.
Oh, that's right, you were with us.
Yes. Cynthia, did
Yeah.
you happen, because I'm guessing Cynthia's like right now. Cynthia, did you happen to acquire the tickets for the games this evening?
But of course I did. I have them right here.
I had no doubt, of course. This is good.
Of course.
Making sure. Just making sure.
Cynthia,
Do you
Proven to be-
wish to hold on to your tickets?
Yes, please.
yes.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, also,
Yes.
we were invited to be in the Commander Ra, as he calls himself amongst his fellow Scale Legionnaires.
Oleg.
Yes.
Oleg. No. Yes.
Oleg.
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 I'm gonna erase that beat.
No B.
That is Arthur Nightshade. That is fantastic.
And of course, I believe you could probably attend with us, of course.
I would be able to stay in But you wanted me to try to network a bit and speak to some of the Lord's courts. You were wanting that still. Weren't you, Reginald?
Yes, actually. Funny enough, we keep hearing that there's sightings of Nathaniel.
Oh, the Lord's court. Yes, he's in the
Yes.
city.
Oh, okay, so that's just common knowledge. Okay.
I spoke to him.
Oh, you did?
Nathaniel.
Yes, Nathaniel. I spoke to him.
Was she?
Yeah, but you wanted me to speak to him, and I spoke to him.
When was this? I don't believe you mentioned this.
It was not too long ago. I spoke to him.
Oh. Wow. Okay.
Roll insight.
Was it actually Nathaniel? Are you sure?
I'm questioning now. Like, do we have bad blood with Nathaniel? Do we though?
I have no idea.
Well, you don't know, but I
Yeah.
I know what happened to the original Nathaniel.
I kind of forgot.
Allegedly, the alleged Nathaniel.
No, like I legitimately forgot. Like what was Nathaniel's purpose?
It's okay.
Don't worry about it.
Our characters don't know shit.
18.
Okay. Anyone else roll insight or no?
Yeah.
Do we? Yeah. Okay.
Well, anyone who feels like they'd be rolling insight.
26.
26.
Excuse me, 25. Yeah.
Okay. So 26,
22.
18, 22. Okay, so all three of you are going to end up getting it. But what you're going to end up picking up on is you notice that she kind of gets flustered and kind of like pulls back a little bit. You notice kind of her face begins to sink in as her neck just begins to kind of pull her face back a little bit farther. She begins kind of looking down at the ground before she says, just recently, I spoke to him. It looks like she has spoke to him, but maybe the timeline is a little different than what she's leading on.
Was it?
Are you meaning
actually- Sorry, go ahead.
Yes. Are you meaning the Nathaniel along the road here? A couple weeks ago now? A few weeks ago.
But of course, he's dead, is what I meant to say.
Yes, but did you find it odd that people are still discussing a Nathaniel is still about in the city?
That is rather odd, yes.
Cynthia, you seem to be a little bit dodgy. Are you alright?
Of course I'm alright.
But you just said you spoke to Nathaniel. Now you just said Nathaniel's dead, but you just said you saw him. What?
I'm trying to figure out which Nathaniel's the real one.
Are we talking about the same Nathaniel?
That's
Could there be more than one Nathaniel?
So I think that might be the case. You know,
Did he have a son also named Nathaniel?
I actually believe that the Nathaniel the Nathaniel that I pointed out to you and your friends initially might have been one of those changelings or doppelgangers or something.
How do you?
Well, we did have a concern of
Because this other Nathaniel just
not even.
because he knows all the information that I would know and he would know. All the
It
members
does
of the
make
court.
sense. We did have an Imperial agent, at least one, confirmed, traveling among us while we were escaping the Empire.
That makes sense.
So I wouldn't be surprised if there were perhaps more than one.
There are imposters.
Lots of imposters here. It's very scary times we're living in. War is it's very, very scary.
Maybe we
You want to roll insight? You're like looking at me like.
Yeah, I'm rolling another insight.
I'm probably right
whistles are
with
going
you,
off.
truthfully.
Shit. 12.
12?
23.
So, as you're, huh?
I said 23. Okay.
So both are gonna kind of pick up on this. I'm gonna let you actually roll with advantage because you've known Cynthia for a while.
18.
All right. So yeah, now both of you are definitely gonna pick up on this. It feels like she's really not good with talking to people, and let me get there.
Let him cook.
I stopped. It feels like she's really not good at talking to people. And there's probably a reason why she serves more as a servant in the Lord's court. Because she gets very easily flustered, and she's really not good at hiding emotions or feelings. So as you're kind of having this conversation with her, it feels like in the course of the conversation, she's trying to distract and trying to talk about things, and you're just kind of really trying to coast any way she can through this conversation to just make it end.
Cynthia, there's something that you're not telling us.
What would I not be telling you?
Something.
Maybe this isn't the place for that. Out in the public. Maybe we
Yes, I
get to
think
the
we
shop and then you can tell us.
We might be pressing our friend a little too unnecessarily. Perhaps this is not the place nor the time,
No.
and maybe in a place with more privacy. We can.
You're
Sounds
fine.
like we're ready.
Everything's fine.
I think we're ready to go visit Zephyrus. Would you two care to attend, or would you? Do you have other business you need to attend to before we meet back up again for the fights?
Well, I was thinking on going and speaking with Nathaniel, but it doesn't seem like it's the best plan right now.
Not that it's not the best plan.
Reginald, would you prefer if I didn't go speak to Nathaniel right now?
Let's have a walk. I want to look around actually to see if there's any like shops, snack vendors, any food or drinks.
How far away are we?
Where you guys are like kind of just past the square. There's not going to be really any vendors set up right here. You guys are actually really close to Magic Emporium.
Let's just go inside.
Well, if there was going to be any conversation with a certain Nathaniel, I think it is beneficial to at least hear what that Nathaniel, true or not, has to say.
Well, if it's
So I don't
the
see
dead
any...
one, you would recognize y'all. You, both, you, just you.
Just me and Cynthia, and I don't think. I mean,
If he's not, then obviously that's clearly.
this is all strange. Of course, I'd like to be there myself to perhaps ask some questions, but I know we need to do some other things, like go to Magic and More, get you ready for your fight this evening, which is quite more important.
Yes,
Because,
you're
you know,
right.
this is more of a matter of life and death, and we can kind of
Very
figure everything
limited
else.
time frame on your-
Figure out everything else later.
You're right. Cynthia, just disregard this. I apologize.
I don't think I can disregard this. This is antagonizing.
We'll pick this up out later.
We'll pick this up at a later time.
It's fine. You're great. You. By the way, do you know you look beautiful today?
You would give me an odd eye too, it feels like.
I mean, but I have no idea who this Nathaniel is. I don't care. You can do whatever you like.
But that seems as I was doing something wrong.
Don't look at me. I mean, I just didn't know about it. They knew it all.
I'm sorry for a little bit on it. We just came out of a little pocket dimension, had to fight for our lives. We felt like we were falling skyscrapers, and we were just in an interrogation with the leader of the Scaled Legionnaire. And I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous about my fight coming up. So I do apologize. I didn't want to put that on you and put you on the spot.
Roll performance really quick.
16.
Alright. Well, I'm going to go find some wine. I'll meet you to fight. I suppose. Do you want me with you at the fight? Or do you want me in the noble box? With
As you originally were.
So you want me to go with out you?
Perform the original task.
I think we can cover more ground doing what we were originally given to do.
Do as you were originally done. Doing.
Okay.
And we'll meet you. We'll meet up with you later.
You just watch. She turns around and starts walking away.
Have a wonderful day, Cynthia.
She's not going to say anything. Y'all are standing out front of Magic and More with. Do you want Cynthia? Do you want Cynthia taking Margaret, or you guys want Margaret to kind of hang out with you?
I'm assuming Margaret's going with something.
Yeah,
Okay.
probably.
All right,
Yeah.
cool. She probably would, but
Yeah.
Our NPC posse.
Yes. Yeah.
cool. All right, so there you are.
Those
Magic and more.
could gone better.
I walk straight in. Zephyrus, did you change your mind about that centerpiece? 300 gold. That nice armor in the middle.
Oh, you're back.
Zephyrus, pay no mind to him. Pay no
Well,
mind to him.
yes, that
It's-
was a lovely way of announcing our old presence.
It's good to see you, friend.
Terribly sorry. My assistant will help you with the rest of this transaction. You're back. Lovely to see you. This couldn't be a... Can you just give me one moment?
I take that as a no.
No. It's not an absolute no, but it's probably close to it. So, yeah. You watch him just kind of wave his hand, and you watch it like a door opens. You can go wait back there. It's one of the little offerings that we have. Just, I'll be there in a couple minutes, maybe. Just need to finish these last couple transactions in line. Thank you very much.
Well, I suppose. Any sort of beverages laying around?
But of course, you could have a potion, or if you want, you could have some wine back there as well.
Potions. What kind of potions do you have? I just grab a couple.
Yeah. So then, as you kind of walk into the back room, I'm assuming you grab the potions, not off the shelf inside the shop.
Yeah. Correct.
Okay. All right. So the three of you end up kind of walking at this side room, and as you do, you end up seeing what looks like a giant workbench spawning all the way across this. Basically, just kind of creating a counter going all the way across the exterior of the room. And as you're looking at this, kind of you see there's shelves kind of just packed full of papers and bottles going up top. You see what looks like kind of a an alchemy set up, and you see where there's some kind of a bunch of arcane symbols carved in the wood that seem like it would kind of be used for some kind of incantations or maybe creation of items. You're an artificer. I want you to actually go ahead and roll history on this.
History. Yeah. Whoa. That is a 24.
As you're kind of investigating this a little bit further, you're remembering that there's a certain kind of magical arcane setup that you can create where you can essentially drop items onto it and just immediately kind of know the properties of the particular item. It's something that really helps with identification of things for resale and such. Then as you're like scanning the rest of this area, you end up seeing with a bunch of potions going across a rack on the top of a wall, and it looks like a stack of books. And while you're standing in there too, I want all you to actually roll perception for me.
$25.
We had an 8.
13.
Not only you're going to notice this, but you're going to notice something. It looks like in the side of the room there is this kind of burlap sack covering something as it's lying there on the floor. It looks like there's some cobwebs surrounding it, but the cobwebs have actually been broken off of this particular burlap flap. It looks like it's kind of coming over towards the little edge of the desk and is coming towards the ground, but the burlap sack doesn't seem to have any cobwebs on it. Cobwebs on it.
Looking around, and I just noticed the bullet sack, cobwebs around it, but not on the sack. I'm gonna walk over and just with the staff and just kind of poke at it a little bit. So curious, just kind of lift up and look under the burlap sack.
Sure. So as you end up looking under the burlap sack, you're gonna see what looks like some kind of almost a quad pod. You end up seeing what is like 4 golden legs that kind of come up to a crest, and as you pull it up a little bit farther, you realize they're not actually gold. It looks like they just look gold and they have like a coating on it, but they're primarily silver. But it comes up to this point where it looks like there's a holder on top for some kind of an orb, almost like what you would see. And I want you to roll Arcana for me really quick.
Yeah.
Okay. It looks like some kind of a jewel or a gem or something could go up there. Maybe like a really big oyster or a pearl. It's like a weird kind of elaborate way to hold something. You end up seeing with small little gemstones at the base of each feet. Not really striking you too much, but it looks pretty ornate.
Just gonna uncover and just actually look at it a little bit more. I wonder why you would have something like this covered up.
I see that he's looked at it.
Yeah, I kind of just like make it
Yeah.
obvious that I'm like.
Okay, I was wondering. I'm like, what do you, Reginald? What's that? That looks very intriguing.
I guess some sort of fancy table that with a hole in it. I'm not so sure what this is. Very decorative though. Maybe a potion holder or something?
Can I see?
Sure, I'm not really stopping you. So you do not. Yeah. How much do you go out, by the way? You do not have any social. sorry. Go ahead.
This is my first time in the material plane.
Oh, you did mention that, didn't you? Aren't there people in the other planet systems?
Give me a point of inspiration for that.
There are plenty of other Eldrins in the other, yes. And you can pretty much tell how they look, how they feel based off the color. So you know who to talk to and who not to.
I guess. Okay.
Well,
a lot of scorns.
Does
A lot
it
of
possibly
scorns,
look
so
like?
Not scorns. Sorry, Cassian.
Does it possibly look like a magical item identification workbench?
Look over at you, then look at the machine.
I'm investigating it at this point. I'm examining it.
Maybe. You have a magic item? I can toss it in there if you
Well,
want.
no. Does it have one specific instrument on the table? It's some sort of wire that tests one specific thing.
I look back at it. Do I see a wire?
Doesn't look like it.
No. I don't see no wire.
It might not be the same.
Just
Can I roll Arcana while there?
Yeah, you can roll Arcana.
I do also eventually look at the table myself.
26.
Yeah. So as you end up looking at it, you roll 26. What do you want to do?
I want to meander over to the table and kind of take a gander and see if I know what it might be.
Okay. Sure. As an artificer, I'm gonna let you roll Arcana with advantage. Okay, so over 26.
Plus 8 to Arcana.
25.
Oh, so it's not a table. I just gave it a table now. I just said
yeah, I was like,
because it has 4 legs and everything. Like it has like,
but it holds like
So as the two of you end up getting over there,
it's not.
you're looking at what looks like this little,
It's like a
probably
brazier.
about like a 2 foot, holding block. This actual like block itself, while it has like a cylinder area in the middle, it looks like it would hold some kind of a gemstone or a crystal or something. You end up seeing what is these ornate legs that kind of come down, basically would hold what is this kind of center area, would hold like a gemstone, orb, or a crystal ball in there. Then as you look down to the center, you end up seeing what is nothing. But on the legs, you end up seeing what are little gemstones in there. It looks like the top, actually, as you're spinning it around and kind of looking at it a little bit further, doesn't have any gemstones, but it does have one slot. It looks like it's about the size of what would be probably about 50 to maybe 100 gold worth of diamonds in there. An actual diamond chunk.
Just on the side of it.
Yeah, just not sitting inside of it, but like there's like a slot for it to kind of
okay.
like fit in
My Scott's the
on one of the legs. So basically, you have like the legs kind of coming down with little gems on going on around. Then some area that looks like probably with your arcanas would be a great place to put kind of like a crystal ball or something of that nature. And then you notice that there is a one kind of diamond slot sitting on one of the legs.
I had a potion holder, right?
I don't think it's a potion holder. Not exactly sure what it holds, but perhaps
wonder if
it's
it
some
would hold
sort
this.
of infusion.
And I'm like playing with the construct soul.
Worth a shot. Well, do we have any sort of What does this do? Cut diamond.
I would have learned what it does. Does it do anything?
So you know that it essentially holds a large amount of magic.
Oh yeah, that's
and
right.
it's
Put it in, my
spell
friend.
slots. Sorry, my bad.
well, you think it holds like the amount of spell, like an extreme amount of spell slots worth of magic.
You should put it in there. Let's see what it does.
Do we have any sort of cut diamond to put in with it?
I put it on.
Gem.
So as you put that on, actually, you're going to kind of notice that everything just kind of stays silent for a second. Nothing happens.
Oh,
And then
that was-
immediately you're going to watch
Oh. No, yeah. I guess that was a
as the actual
Swords.
kind of oozy-like skeleton begins kind of like moving and moving and moving, and eventually just kind of like pops out and turns into like a full-drawn crystal inside this holder. It looks like the legs end up kind of emitting a little bit of a light as the gemstones on the bottom begin to also glow slightly.
Oh,
Beautiful.
huh. Great. What's it do?
Well, I mean,
Arthur, you're familiar with constructs like this, right?
Not quite. Disregard.
Are the legs moving on it?
Zephyrus, can you come in here?
Kind of like peek out. I actually want to like peek out the door a little bit just to see where Zephyrus is.
Okay. It looks like Zephyrus is still tending the people right now.
I mean, we could probably use you a little quick sooner rather than later.
Roll
What's
persuasion.
this? Roll what? Sorry.
Don't
Roll
touch it like that. No,
persuasion.
don't touch it.
Don't touch it like that.
Don't touch it like that, please.
Persuasion?
Hmm?
Ooh, that's a 8.
Okay. Doesn't look like he's really paying you any mind. He's really just trying to focus on the customers right now. So, what do you guys want to do?
So out of curiosity, because I already cast Identify on the object initially, the object now just changed. Do I still know what it is? Is it still giving the same properties?
So it looks like the properties of it have changed a little bit. It seems like the actual item itself is exuding a lot of divination.
Question: does the little table thing, does it
And enchantment.
have any buttons to show?
Doesn't look like it has any buttons as you're kind of like looking around. You do have that orb that's kind of sitting there on top. It looks like it kind of had a liquid state, but it just immediately kind of crystallized. And it does have what looks like that little diamond slot that Arthur pointed out.
I'm telling you, something needs to go. That I don't think we have any sort of cut gems that would fit precisely in there.
No, but
Or do we?
Those you can't hear sound like. I wanted attention.
Would that work on the gem in your ring?
Can't just unsocket the gem.
I mean, we can.
No.
I have the tools.
No. No,
So
I think-
as
pour some diamond dust into it.
I do.
So,
I
as
pull
you
out
pour-
a jeweler's kit, by the way.
as you-
So
as
I
you-
have it.
as you pour some diamond dust there, it looks like the diamonds begin to just begins to kind of fall out and everything. It just begins kind of collecting on the floor.
Okay, well, take a right back up and put her on the pouch.
As you're doing that, I actually want you to go ahead and roll perception.
Ooh, okay. Shit, hold on. Ooh, nat 20.
Nice.
Okay. All right. So as you're actually lying there on the floor, you're end up realizing as you kind of pull back this burlap sack and toss it on the floor, and you're like really just trying to sweep back into diamond dust. You're just gonna end up recognizing, wait a second. Burlap sack's kind of not on the ground, it's kind of lumped over something. You kind of stop slipping it up and pull it back ever so slightly. You notice was a tiny little box. But you didn't stop there. You're a little more curious now that you didn't notice this before. And you go to open up the box and you see what is 6 diamonds. They're like perfectly cut in the same shape,
6.
half a dozen, somebody said.
sitting inside this box.
I guess Zephyrus does owe us. What could go wrong? I'm gonna take one of the diamonds.
I'm holding.
Roll a
like, 'cause
d6
I
for
put
him.
the
Okay.
like I am the one holding this currently still. Just FYI, I've not let go of it.
3.
So are you holding Are you holding by the legs? Are you holding by the orb, or what are you doing?
Well, the orb's inside the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I'm just like, how are you? If you say you're holding it, how are you holding?
I would have placed it on, and I probably would just be like, because it's small, right? It's like this big, roughly. Yeah. So
Well, it's a little bit bigger than that. Yeah, just a tad.
Yeah.
Like you can think of it's staying about 2 feet up.
Oh, I thought it was bigger. Sorry.
No,
Yeah,
it's about
he's holding
about
a
2
stool.
feet worth of legs. Yeah, and then you have that orb segment.
That was like a small coffee table.
No, not that tall.
It's a table.
2 feet. 2 feet.
That's why I was calling it a table. I'm sorry.
It's
you
got
go.
legs. Must be a dog.
Honestly, I thought it was smaller, so it's maybe I'm not holding it. I'm still looking at
No,
it.
it's-
I think
you can still definitely hold it.
Yeah.
You can still definitely hold it. So
I just-
okay,
like,
2
is there?
feet.
I mean, it'd be a clear
We're gonna
spot
do some
to-
math here really quick.
Yeah,
2
like,
feet.
okay.
2 feet. So it's
figure
about like a foot and a half, 2 feet.
Yeah.
Has legs kind of spine off there holding it. Gemstones at the bottom. A slot right there on one of the legs that could fit a diamond. And then in the center, you end up having that orb you put in that immediately crystallizes and just sits in the middle.
Oh, okay.
So you could hold it by the legs, or you could hold it by like the orb and the little like holding thing, or you could just like literally just put your hands on it and just leave it on the floor. It's up to you. Or you can put it on a desk. It's up to you.
Holding it. I'd be currently probably holding it up by the legs still.
Okay, so you're holding it by the legs. Okay.
Hey, what does this do?
Slit.
As he puts it in.
So as you put the diamond in there, you're gonna end up seeing as the diamond begins to just kind of sparkle and glow, and then it looks like the energy inside of the orb begins to kind of swirl and swirl and swirl, and then it begins to slow down, just keeps a really small swirl going.
This is magnificent. I can't believe I found this. Okay, has it changed properties again?
Doesn't look like anything's happened right now. It looks like it's kind of still holding that enchantment and divination.
Wait, can we put this on the,
Yeah,
on the table right
can
there?
we just
So,
plop?
Okay. And you plop it on the table, and it looks like it's still kind of slowly swirling inside that ball.
Would you look at that? Look at this. Would you
Would you just look at it?
just look at that? Would you look at that?
Nothing happens. I pick it up and walk out.
no! Grab you by the back of the scruff of your neck and pull you back inside.
I'm grabbing you by the flat and pedals on your back.
Yeah, get your flowery ass back in here.
But he can help.
He will in a minute. In a minute. I don't think his customers would really want to see this either. It was probably in that sack for a reason.
So both my magic-y people, go ahead and roll Arcana for me.
Whoa, that's a 27.
Yeah.
Only 17.
2017.
2017.
It's only a 17.
Oh, okay.
It did sound like 27.
It sounded like 2017.
Oddly enough.
I'm like, someone wants to go back, baby. All right, so
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
you're not gonna remember. You're not gonna like kind of pick up on this. But you're gonna pick up on something. High roll.
I'm so high.
High roll.
I'm high.
So
Correct.
what you're gonna end up picking up is, as you're staring at the crystal in the center, you feel like the crystal's actually like calling to you, and calling you specifically to touch it.
What was it called in Lord of the Rings?
Tell me what you're
The
gonna do.
Palantir. It's calling out to me. Sauron's literally trying to fucking beam me right now. Can't talk about it. Can I like? Okay, I feel like I've had a fair share of.
I'm gonna smack your hand if you try to touch it.
I think I've had a fair coming from
saying
the guy who fucking touched it. Anyway,
And put the orb in the middle.
I think we're already a few.
We're slap away his hand.
Like, oh no, this is mine. This is my new magical toy.
Okay, there's Cassian. There's
This is
Cassian.
mine.
Now that
You had your glowy hands earlier. It's fine now.
a few different conversations with some divine or otherwise beings, some other than normal beings.
Yes.
Can I maybe understand the intention? Like, is there malice behind the touch me?
It doesn't look like there's any malice. It's more of like a desire to share.
Oh, I'm going in for it.
pull it away, and I don't let y'all touch it because it's mine.
Sleight of hand.
It's my new
Yeah,
item.
that's what it's gonna be. So it's gonna be contesting sleight of hands between all three.
Well, I mean, I would be also going to grab it and touch it. At the
I know,
same
but that's what I'm saying. It's
Okay.
All three of us touching
It's
it.
contesting
All
sleight of
three of
hand.
us touching at the same time.
What if we all just touch hands and that's
This is mine.
Well,
I rolled a dirty 20.
well, I rolled an 11.
So you're gonna manage to just pull this thing away. It looks like they're all reaching to touch what is that center like crystal orb that you've been.
No. This is my magical item.
Yes.
I need it for the Lord, potentially.
You can still have it.
no, hold on,
We
man.
need to. Don't
then-
you want to know more
No,
about
this
it?
is mine. As I just
Motherfucker.
I just touch it on the
You
top.
touch it on the top. All right. So as you go to do that, you're gonna immediately, as you kind of feel your hand put on it, your hand.
I'm like gripping it around.
Yeah. You're well. So you're actually gonna grip the top of it. So as you grip the top of it, you're gonna feel as your hand begins to kind of like meld into it ever so slightly, and you feel like a warm presence begin to kind of cascade over the palm of your hand and just kind of begins extending across your arm. And then it feels like your hand almost sinks in a little bit to this crystal orb. As you end up feeling that, you immediately hear a voice just echoing in your head. It's like,
Hello, hand touches.
"Hello, my name is Oracle. Pleasure to make your acquaintance."
Hello, Oracle. Nice to meet you.
You're gonna be hearing him say this out loud.
Too. Oh no.
Oh God! What is he?
What are you?
I see you've inserted a new collection that you would like to read today. Would you like me to tell you the information?
Yes.
Very well.
What's he saying?
Would you like the summary of the collection itself from this particular archive, or would you prefer the entirety read to you?
How long would it take for the entirety to be read?
For the entirety to be read, it would be approximately 5 to 9 hours, depending on my speed, of
Let's
course.
do the summary.
The summary, but of course.
I'm gonna take this down.
And he's going to be saying all this out loud as it seems like he just kind of in a trance state for a little bit.
Like I said, I don't think he had any social interaction where he was from.
Please, Zephyrus, too.
No, babe. No, I want to.
Okay,
I mean,
so
I'm
that's,
still-
this is the one you rolled. This is the
I'm
one you
still
rolled.
entitled.
Okay.
It doesn't change.
So that's the one you rolled.
Fuck.
Yeah, let me give you the cliff notes real quick.
This is the clip.
Yeah,
So-
actually, can we get the 5 to 9 hours?
Holy shit, my guy.
So that's gonna be like you're just gonna end up. So realistically, for him to like listen to this kind of happen, this would only be about like 3 to 5 minutes, maybe.
Is he just like kind of drooling as
he's just gonna be kind of like,
Oh, the rise and fall of Arby. Oh, okay. Okay, cool.
yeah. He's literally just gonna be kind of like sitting there talking. Just like, I didn't know that.
So should we maybe rip it away from him? Do you think that'd be maybe we should do that?
This is gonna take me a minute to read it. So, I mean, do you want me to do this now, or do you
Well,
want
it's
me
up to you. You can do this now, yeah.
Then we got about Zephyrus to walk in. See
If you want, David, we could honestly just like read it to the table, and that way, like everyone kind of.
How many
able to
pages is
know.
it? Wait, how many pages?
So the
one
last
is-
page is more just like a list of information.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you want to just like kind of read it to the table, that way everyone sees it.
All right.
I believe in you.
Or you could post it to the Discord.
Oh, actually, that's not bad.
If we could read it for the audience too, that'd be nice. Too.
Okay.
The Rise and Fall of RB Program by Benson Ropefoot. In the year 150 AA, during the reign King Theron Halford of the Bauran Empire, the world witnessed an unprecedented innovation in arcane arts. The creation of the first artificial replicated bionic individual, or Arbies. These constructs, born from the mind of the reclusive scholar Cathian Alaris, were not mere tools of war or labor, but entities imbued with a near perfect emulation of mortal sentience. Alaris, a master of planar studies, had long pursued the arcane mysteries of the positive and negative energy planes. And through years of meticulous experimentation, he unlocked the secret of infusing constructs with life. That's the first paragraph. Initially dubbed Project AEW, Artificial Emulated Woodborne, Alara's early designs were rigid, crude replicas of human behavior. These early models, active between 150 AA and 163 AA, served well enough as soldiers and servants in the Empire's endless campaign to expand its borders. They followed orders without question, spoke with clipped mechanical precision, and exhibited no desire beyond their program duties. They were, for all intents and purposes, extensions of the Empire's will, mindless yet tireless. However, in 165 AA, Cathian, Caethan?
I think it's Kathy. Yeah.
Cathian Alaris had perfected his craft through the careful balance.
Cathan. I think it's Cathan.
Cathan?
Yeah.
Balancing of energy from both positive and negative planes, the arcane method that mirrored necromantic practices. He created the RBs that would change the world. These late models, those constructed 165 AA to 168, were infused not only with artificial memories, but with emotions, empathy, and free will qualities that distinguish themselves from earlier, more primitive designs. In their eyes, one could see their reflection of lives they never lived, histories they had never experienced, yet memories that shaped them as if they had once walked the world as mortals. By the late 160s, the RBs had become so advanced that few could distinguish them from their human counterparts in casual conversation. They were deployed in increasing numbers to serve the Empire's interests, their adaptability making them indispensable on the battlefield, in diplomacy, and even the matters of governance. King Theron Halford himself praised the RB program as one of the greatest advancements of his reign, a tool that could usher the Valoran Empire into an era of unrivaled dominance. Yet their increasing complexity came fear. The RBs began to exhibit behaviors that unsettled their human
Post on
masters.
Discord, by the way, so you guys can see it too.
Some grew. So then, do I need to read all this out loud still?
Somebody else can start reading if you want.
I mean, I don't mind. I'm just wondering. Do we
Yeah,
want to
it's
go through the whole thing?
Yeah,
Some grew attached. Yet increasing complexity of the fear became exhibited behaviors that unsettled human masters. Some grew attached to one another, forming social bonds that mimic those of mortal families. Others questioned their orders, especially in instances where their lives of fellow Arbys were at risk. It was during the Plague of the Deathwalkers in 211 AA, a time when the Arbys were instrumental in clearing out hives of undead, that the first signs of rebellion appeared. The Arbys, once thought to be wholly subservient, began to prioritize the survival of their own over the missions they were assigned. The military officers of the Empire, already strained by the plague and ongoing wars, reported instances where the Arbys defied orders, protecting their kin at the cost of human lives. The final spark that ignited the Empire's decision to cull Arbys came in 2019 AA, when their reports surfaced of Arbys secretly constructing and nurturing new generations of their own kind. These constructs, created not in imperial forages, but by Arbys themselves, were said to be more independent, more free-thinking, and even their late model predecessors. They formed a social society within a society, a subculture of Warforged that began to challenge the Empire's authority. Some were even rumored to have taken on human forms through arcane transformation, further blurring the lines between created things and their creators. The Empire, fearing that the Arbys' growing autonomy threatened the very foundation of mortal society, declared the program an abomination in the eyes of the god. The high priests of Chive and Phos proclaimed that the creation of life began solely to the divine, and the RB program had overstepped the natural order. Publicly, it was decreed that the RBs were a violation of the god's will, their creation a blasphemy against the sacredness of the mortal souls. Privately, however, the record of the immortal court tell a different story. The Empire feared RBs not of their heresy, but for their potential to overthrow mortal rule. The RBs, now too numerous and too independent, represented a threat to the Empire could no longer control. The Empire feared not only the rebellion of the RBs, but...
Yeah, I'll take over for you, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, well,
I was gonna offer a few more.
You're doing a lot.
I don't
So
know.
the Empire...
Paragraphs left?
So the Empire feared not only the rebellion of the Arbys, but also the potential upheaval within its own populace. The gods, most notably the Father and Chive, had long outlawed the enslavement of mortals. and the Arby's increasing independence blurred the lines between construct and true sentience. Whispers spread that Arby's, acting in self-preservation, were no different from the mortals defending their own freedom. Many in the lower ranks of society, already disillusioned with the Empire's rule, began to see the Arby's actions as divinely sanctioned, proof that even these beings created by mortal hands were entitled to life and liberty. The simple-minded, unable to grasp the complexities of arcane emulation, saw only creatures that thought, felt, and fought for their survival. If the Arby's could be seen as possessing souls, or something close to it, what right did the Empire have to deny their freedom? The Empire feared that if this belief took hold, then it would ignite a rebellion, a revolution fueled by the notion that the gods themselves demanded the end of oppression, not only for the Arby's, but for all who suffered under mortal rule. This led to the culling. In 219 AA, the culling began. Imperial forces hunted down and decommissioned Arby's across the kingdom, destroying factories and forges that had once been birthing grounds. Cathan the Laris, the brilliant mind behind their creations, vanished at this time. His final fate remains a mystery, though rumors persisted that he too feared the legacy that he created. His disappearance only deepened the shadows of the Arby program, leaving future generations to wonder whether the true danger lay in the Arby's themselves or the mortal hubris that sought to control them. Thus, the Arby's, once celebrated as the pinnacle of arcane achievement, became the subject of fear and legend. Their survival, scattered and hidden in the far reaches of the world, is a whisper amongst those who remember them. And though they are purged from the Empire's ranks, the legacy of Cathan the Laris endures, haunting the halls of power with the question, what does it mean to create life? And what right do mortals have to decide their fate? These are popular Arby models in use at the time. Arby Tur, trauma, evaluation, and recovery. Medical professionals providing care and rehabilitation. Arby Sur, seek, extract, return. Search and rescue specialists, designed to find and recover individuals or objects. Arby Scene, seek, extract, nullify. Hunters or operatives focused on tracking down and eliminating threats. Arby Cole, culture, understanding, and liaison. Diplomats, translators, and cultural historians, serving as a bridge gap between people and races. Arby Lab, labor, allocation, and building. Manual laborers and construction experts, responsible for building infrastructure and physical projects. Arby Ed, education and developmental understanding. Teachers, mentors, and archivists. There we go. Archivists, sharing knowledge and aiding in the development of individuals and societies. RBAR, artists, expression, and representation. Artists, musicians, and creators, contributing culturally through arts and performance. RBAGR, or RBGAR, agricultural growth and resources. Agricultural specialists focusing on farming, resource management, and sustainability. RBCOM, commerce and negotiations. Merchants and traders skilled in economic dealings, business negotiations, and maintaining trade routes. And RBAM, affection and empathy model, designed to simulate emotional bonds like affection, care, and loyalty. These Arby's can form emotional preferences and simulate deep bonds, raising ethical questions about love and attachment in synthetic beings. And that is what you're going to hear as you're holding on to this thing and they're staring at you just...
Oh, yeah. Arby's.
And it looks
Arby
like...
Arby's.
It looks like Zephyrus still hasn't come in the room yet as this ends up finishing up. And you hear a voice saying in your head, "Thank you very much. I hope that was everything you hoped it would be."
Everything and more. Thank you so much. Is there any other topics you have?
I have no other topics in this archive. This is a summary of the
No
archive I
other-
presented.
Topics of the archive. Okay. Thank you. That is all.
No problem. Thank you very much.
I try to let go.
Yep, and as you let go, you kind of feel that it begins pushing you away as you begin to pull your hand off, and it looks like your handprint actually kind of pushes off, and the orb returns to this kind of crystal-like glass form.
Well,
That was interesting.
you just
so?
kind of stared at us for
Yeah.
some time.
You didn't hear the
No.
oracle.
Oracle?
Huh?
Yeah,
Just some-
it basically recited a very nice summary of the Arby's.
Did you hear anything?
The obbies? You mean like the one that I have in my pocket?
Can you
Yeah,
recite?
can I see that? Does it have any markings on it? Okay.
Very cool knowledge. I wonder what it might be about.
I go
Never
through it.
heard of one of these things before. Never seen one either.
Oh, well, actually, I didn't know you had an army. So you have one. Oh my god, that's great.
No.
Can I see it?
No. I don't have one.
I'm curious what model you
I'm
have.
not going to.
Seems to be quite. I mean, okay. Can I, or would I know, or should I roll history? If I actually knew what an RV was.
Roll history disadvantage.
Disadvantage.
You're not from this plane. You wouldn't be very familiar with this kind of planal history.
Well, that sucks.
Double one.
6.
Snake eye.
6.
I was away from a double 8. One away from a double 18.
You're not really familiar with all this. All you really understand is everything that was kind of explained to you about this army. About them kind of being these synthetic beings that were created by the Empire and serve purposes. Everything was kind of read to you.
What
with
year
your
is it
knowledge.
again?
You guys have that.
Can you just tell me?
638 AA.
There you go.
So, this was about 400 years ago?
400 years
400
ago.
plus. Well, now that you mention it, we did snag the RV for the purpose. We did.
Well, do you know
want-
what kind of RV you got? There's about a dozen models. There's 10 of them that I know of.
Arbiter.
Arbiter?
It was definitely a medical one.
Yeah.
We wanted to revive it so that it could help Scorn. Neither here nor there.
You get a feeling that you could probably just put your hand back on it and talk to Oracle and figure things out too. Based off of how you just had that interaction with it.
Should I?
Hello. What can I do for you? My name is Oracle.
Are arbiters still around? Do they still exist in
Looking. Searching. What I'm seeing from this particular archive is the armies could still exist, but this information is incomplete. It is very possible that armies do still exist in the material plane. However, it is not definite. After the culling that was believed to happen in 219 AA, not much is known of this information. I can tell you the models if you'd like. Does that help?
the models? Is that what you said?
Yes, the models.
Any more than what you had summarized?
So the models are Arbiter. It's literally just going to start going down the same way.
Thank you, Oracle. What about Cathian? Cathian?
Cathian. Cathan? Yes, this individual actually was known to create the actual RB program himself.
Correct.
He
It
was
said
the
it
one.
disappeared.
Correct. He did disappear, and that is what the archives show.
No other foundation or no other words of if he's actually still alive.
You're still hearing him talk out loud to this. The archives do not show any more information on this. I would need new archives to scan.
Would arbiters be a bad thing to use nowadays?
I do not have perspectives on morality or objective nature. I only have the information presented to me in the archive.
Cassie,
And the theme of this seems to be,
here.
and he's just gonna kind of be muddling off that kind of stuff.
Can I hear like them still?
Yeah, you can still hear them, yeah.
Cassie, could you just ask it how to revive an arbiter?
Sure. Oracle, how do you revive an arbiter?
So that information isn't actually accessible on my archives. However, if you present me with new information, I could potentially find you the answer.
He doesn't know. Unless he gets more information. Do you have more information I can give to him?
If we have
How does
the
it receive
information-
more information? Does it receive more information in the form of these diamonds? Are all diamonds somehow secretly embedded with information?
Whoa, man, you're going too deep.
Can you give me another one? And we switch it out. Wait, is it gone or is it just like implanted?
It's just implanted in there.
Okay, so I want to take out the existing diamond, and you said you had 6, right? Can I get another one? Take it, plop
Yes.
in, touch my hand again.
Okay. So as you go like take it out, I feel like the diamond kind of fights you a little bit, but you're able to eventually just kind of pull it out.
Okay.
And as you're kind of like looking at this diamond in your hand, I want you to roll investigation.
Oh shit!
Ooh.
That sucks. But okay. Yeah. I still get a +8. 10.
It looks like the diamond itself is really shiny and still kind of glows a little bit after you pull it out. As you begin passing it off over to Reginald, he passes you the diamond.
Okay. Are they all the same color diamonds?
Yes.
All look identical?
To you, yes.
I mean, I'm very high intellect and arcane.
Yes, and you just rolled for that too. So.
Oh, damn. Okay. Well, I picked another one and just whatever he gave me,
Can't look at the
I
diamond
put
you
it
just
in.
handed.
Roll a d6 for me.
3.
3 again. Okay, roll again.
3. Pick number
4.
3, Malone.
4.
Number 3. Malone.
Okay. All right. So as you go ahead and take that and put it in the slot. Hello, my name is Oracle. What can I do to help you?
Hi, Oracle. What is this archive?
Well, this archive seems to processing.
Is that what you were doing?
I
This archive seems to hold information over the culmination of magic in history, as it resides in the historic city of Shadowstone.
The historic magical magic of Shadowstone. Got it. Huh. Can I have a summary?
Would you like a full summary, sir, or would you prefer a full in-depth? I could give you a shorter version if you prefer.
Shorter version would be
5 to 9 hours.
much appreciated.
The shortest version of this archive seems to hold a great deal of information about the actual founding of Shadowstone, and how Uham the Bold came to actually conquer the city. How the city itself used to actually be a housing ground and temple to the goddess herself, Savari.
Goddess Severi.
I hope that is to your liking.
Absolutely.
And that's what you're going to end up hearing.
Oh, that's the summary? That's the
That was his short summary, yeah. As they kind of end up hearing this, you're going to recognize the door just kind of opens.
Is-
I'm terribly sorry about it.
So am I
What-
like a trance? Like, can I see, like,
You can still see and look around, but it almost feels. Imagine it like this. Imagine like you have like those kind of transparent headphones where you can still hear what's going on around you, but you kind of hear a muffled voice.
Okay.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry about that. What are you doing back here? What? How?
Don't mind us,
Explain yourself,
I'm
please.
just learning. This is Where's my magical
Zephyrus,
item?
You were digging through my belongings in my back office.
I wouldn't say
You
much.
told us to make ourselves at home.
Ugh.
Sorry, Cassie.
This is actually my fault.
Cassie.
I should have known a being from another plane would not know common decency in the material plane.
I apologize for his behavior. He doesn't really have much social interactions. We try to take him out around town a little bit more so he can learn.
This is a very unique device.
It is quite alright. You'll watch he just like flaps his arms out and you watch as these large, elaborate silks just kind of begin flowing out, revealing his arms. All is forgiven. This is my mistake. Come in. Embrace me.
What? Can I, like, okay, so I'm in, like, so I can still move?
You can still move, yeah.
Okay.
You'd have to take your hand off the thing, but...
What? I'm gonna, okay, so if I am speaking to...
Don't leave myself waiting. Come.
Well, if I'm speaking aloud,
Listen,
does the
where's my
oracle
hug
still
at?
think I'm speaking to itself?
You don't know yet.
So, like, I would have said Zephyrus, like, oh, what, you want me to embrace you, Zephyrus? And, like,
There is no Zephyrus inside this manuscript. Terribly
I'm
sorry.
very curious if it was gonna pop up and say something. Alright, are we embracing?
Go in and embrace him.
I love a good hug. And I just take off and I go for a hug.
Oh, thank you so much for what you've done for me. I did not think I would ever see the light of day again.
What did we do?
You're welcome, Zephyrus. We're glad you're back.
I took a long, long rest when I returned.
Is that like double of a normal long rest?
I would say on about 20 hours. I woke maybe 2 hours before your arrival. That's why we were so backed up.
That's at least 2.25 long rests.
Oh,
As far as I know.
What do you say?
Never mind. Just silly numbers. Well, we're glad you're okay and back in business. It seems. Hopefully, not many angry customers. We know of one that was at least a little upset that we couldn't originally, be convenienced with walking in and seeing you open right away.
It is quite alright. Sorry, let me go ahead. And you watch he just kind of walks over and removes the diamond. You watch he just kind of presses down 2 of the gemstones at the bottom, and looks like the crystal ball just kind of begins to decrystallize and turn into kind of this gooey-like shape. As he kind of picks up the crystals, I'm honestly quite surprised you managed to get this out of my safe.
No, that one's mine. I brought that in.
This is true. You did.
He is. Not
We did obtain this from.
Yeah, that one's mine.
Well,
Let me
explain.
check.
As-
I'll just check my safe really quick. And you'll watch as he just kind of pulls something off of one of these kind of drawers. And do you mind giving me a moment, please?
Sure.
If you could turn away.
Uh-huh.
Please?
I'm just gonna grab both of you, like, alright, let's turn away.
You hear like just kind of like you hear just kind of like a little like incantation that's being done, and then immediately kind of hear it. Suppose this actually is yours.
Thank you.
I figured you got into my safe. Where did you find that?
Well, I found it. Like, amidst our travels of our recent adventure today.
There was a gentleman in the city that caused quite a commotion. He had it on this person. We apprehended him and we found it on him. What's the deal with this?
Well, it's a construct soul.
Oh, I'm familiar with what it is.
there's multiple of these.
Yes, there's multiple of these.
And what function do they serve? We know that
Well, I was accessing different archive based off the different diamonds he gave me.
Yes, those.
all seems like a very strange coincidence that we had all of the parts needed to access this information, and all we needed was this conduit thing, if you will, that you had covered up back here.
Do you know what you have there, then?
Not particularly. I mean, I feel like it's containing a vast number of spells inside of it.
That is what's referred to as a construct soul.
Correct. That's about all I know.
Very well. Yes, a construct soul is a very particular apparatus. They were actually designed by Caithin Alaris back during the earlier Empire dynasties. They're said to have the perfect balance between positive and negative energy and are able to actually emulate sentience in a different way, but not by themselves. When put in other elaborate configurations, they're able to fully emulate things to their fullest forms, but they still control and have personalities when attached to different machinery.
So like Arby's.
Wait, so if we insert this soul into the husk of an Arby, it will thrum with life, become once more?
How do
Well, I mean,
Wait,
it told
wait,
me that
wait,
one of the diamonds told me the archive was the rise and fall of Arby's, and I went through the.
you found my diamonds too?
Well, you just pulled one out. I mean, I assume you realized we. Yes.
I didn't think that.
Really ought to have more safe.
I mean, it was just in a bag over there.
I was quite generous with you, bringing you back into my study.
I
because
appreciate the information. I mean, information is designed for everybody, is it not?
It's fine. No, you all seem like a very ventured group, and I'm not worried about what you'll do with the information.
It's a nice word.
This is exclusive information from the restricted sections of the library that is not supposed to be seen by the public's eye, so I very much hope you will not be sharing this with the public.
Sharing what?
Thank you.
Well, if there's things you don't want to share, that the public wouldn't know about any sort of particularly forbidden section of the library, then we shouldn't need to discuss anything related to such, unless need of it arrives.
Are you wanting access to the library? I
No,
told you I'd give you a favor. Is that the favor you're asking?
No. Well, but no. We were recently up in the restricted section of the library, and we're
You
able
have
to
access to the restricted section.
temporarily.
By the gods, that is not cheap. You normally have to own land and 1,000 gold pieces.
Well, we are well-ventured people.
Search good.
By the gods, more power to you.
So, if there's anything we can discuss openly, I believe we can. I don't believe we all share we don't share every bit of knowledge that we learn with everyone around us. In fact, we're quite exclusive. So if there's forbidden knowledge to be discussed, I believe it can be safely discussed between us.
Roll persuasion. You want to say something, Reginald?
I wanted to let this finish. I just had a question on my own. Cool.
We got an 8.
Yeah, what was your question?
That's it. It's over.
No.
Anyway.
Different topic. I want. So, Zephyrus, a man quite like yourself, how did it come to that you were seized and captured?
He actually just kind of ignores what you were just saying and immediately goes by the Reginald.
So, I'm assuming that because my assistant did mention Jarvan, you met him, I believe.
Correct. Yes.
I have a private quarters that I'm sure you've at least been through, where I conduct more carefully sanctioned experiments, if you'd like to call them that. And I do these under little to no knowledge of outside parties. So I do hope you keep that hush-hush.
Oh, that would make sense.
Of course.
I worry about that one slightly.
We do.
He seems very cheerful.
He's of good intent.
Apparently, he decides
I mean, I
what he
wouldn't
wants
be-
to be.
It's quite fascinating. I've read on your kind before. And sure, whatever kind you are is very secretive with your sayings.
Oh, I'm not going to tell anybody anything. It's my magical items I will be retrieving. Nobody else's. It becomes mine. The information I gain becomes knowledge for me to achieve my goal. Why would I spread it and help others?
We're still trying to teach him manners.
Did I mention magical items? I thought I was.
Sharing is caring, except for
Knowledge in my realm is welcome to all, but obviously this is the third time now that I've been told that knowledge is not welcome to all in this material plane. So I will just let it be.
Well, there's reason for that, though, friend. I don't think you understand. There was a time where.
Obviously, there was a time when Arby's were taking over the world.
So the
That is-
Empire portrayed. Now, to be fair, I do live within the confines of the Freelands, but the Arby's were not what was said to be in the Imperial's writings. I'm not sure how many of those archives you actually read, but there was a time before where the archives of knowledge actually using Imperial technology, such as that device over there, was actually used to interface and spread knowledge among the masses. See, those among us who were unable to read could still consume knowledge and information, but that's a time that has long since passed. Having these construct souls be able to speak to people and understand things was a very primitive way of what the Arby's once were. But as we later discovered, I say we meaning our species, it is frightening to have people incapable of understanding information have access to it. For if you were to tell a poor man that a tree is full of infinite foods and infinite meals, then the poor man might want to chop it down for himself. Hold on to that infinite food for himself for all eternity. And in turn killing the tree. So is it better that the poor man not know that killing the tree means killing the apples and the infinite nature that it comes with, than letting it know the information that the food comes from it infinitely? Protecting that tree for all eternity, and those who wish to harbor it for themselves. Can you see why knowledge can be dangerous in the hands of those incapable of understanding what it holds?
Do I have anybody in my plane that doesn't actually understand or consume knowledge? Like,
I would say there's been some individuals that
Are there
you
dumb
question.
are they fucking idiots?
Yeah,
Like,
where you question not just their motives but their intentions. So there might be some like less average people, but I think more what you'd encounter is people who potentially have like self or potentially malicious ideas, especially like hags or things that are more in the chaotic evil alignment. And they would definitely take something and potentially use it or manipulate it against others. So for you, it might not be them cutting down a tree and keeping it for themselves because they want to protect themselves, but it might be them tainting the tree knowing that it will forever taint everybody else.
Taint talk.
Alright, what was the question?
Can you understand why some knowledge may now be restricted?
I guess, yes.
I do not like it either, but all knowledge cannot be known by all. But some people are not ready to know it.
What other archives do you have? I looked at 2. What are the other 4?
I have quite a collection of archives. It's actually quite surprising. Going back to the Empire's days, the diamonds were actually used during a certain cut and shape to record knowledge. And using those contraptions right there, they would share knowledge of remnants. So while people might seek the diamonds that hold value to them, they never truly know the diamond's value that they maintain. You probably noticed the inscriptions on the inside of the diamonds. Those are created during the copying process.
It's funny that you say the value of diamonds. Like when we were down there in the underground with the Colts, they had a stash of diamonds.
Yes, they did.
So, I'm sorry, I don't want to cut in again, but I mean, why? How?
This is your time. I'm taking time out of my day for you. You saved me. I owe you. Do not apologize. I owe you.
Oh, isn't that going here?
That sounds
great.
important.
That was fucking great.
Sorry.
That was perfect.
Can you tell us any more of what was going on down there, or why? I mean, we understand as to why they were using you. Looks like they were trying to use your magic to try to
Well, they did.
do another.
You did, I suppose, under duress, of course, empower an army for them.
Technically speaking, the army was actually already functional if we're going to talk about it. Since you already are aware of the armies.
Oh, you saw an army.
You spoke with it too. What was his
I
name?
thought they were banned and destroyed.
No, actually, well, this might be more of a. This might be more help now. Well, maybe not. We recovered your army from your workshop.
You did.
Yes.
I cannot believe it. I would have sworn that they would have taken it along with the other.
It seems they didn't scour that up. Don't know how, but they did. We have it with us.
Can
If
I
you-
see it? That's remarkable.
I will need help once it comes out of the bag. It is the bag of holding. It's rather difficult to.
Yes, but please, let's.
While he's getting that out, do you have any diamonds of the souls of the soul sigils?
I'm sorry.
Regarding the soul sigils, the rings of soul sigils, or the pact of soul sigils.
Pact of the Soul Sigils. Do I have diamonds?
An archive of it. You said you have a pile of diamonds.
Oh, I was about to say. You mean, do I have the actual gemstones
No.
of the soul? No.
The information
by the
correct
gods.
behind it. Sorry, I'm assuming that was going to take you time to get out of the bag.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't think I do actually. I have read on it actually when I have gone to the restricted section of the library. They're quite remarkable things. If it wasn't for my old age, I would have actually considered traveling in the Void Caverns itself in efforts of finding them. They're quite rare and do you know, have you read the story behind it?
Small amount.
It's fascinating, honestly.
I'm-
You know, they
I'm
say you're
literally-
not supposed to put all 3 rings on, but... I'm not saying I would, but I've always wondered what would happen if you did. Each of the rings carries its own properties. But sorry, no, to answer your question, You actually have been to the library.
I have, yes. Why would I lie?
You kind of see his demeanor just kind of relaxes a little bit more.
Just like that was mine. Or we said we went there.
Alright, here it is. Oh god.
So
Sliding it on the table. Really, it is heavy. Could use help.
Oh,
Don't let the nerd struggle here.
I'm gonna help Arthur lift up the army.
I'm just as much of a nerd as you are.
It just made
so-
me realize, actually, if we were ever to lay in wait for an ambush, and say I was up in the air, or there was a certain spot on the ground that we'd want to drop an ambush on, hold open the bag, think, oh, what heavy object can I think of? And just right onto them. I just don't.
Crush the caravan. Just.
As long as they're
Just so happen to have an anvil inside of my.
as long as it's a 2-foot wide anvil, it's okay.
Could I? I wonder if I could teleport. Could you face step? Just have it like.
Yeah, I mean, it is a creature.
But it says willing.
It has sentience and it's willing.
Yeah, it's sentient and it's willing, yeah.
But I mean, what if it's not alive yet?
It's an object.
Can I do that or not?
It'd be like a body. Like the body can't be willing because it's a body. Like
Yeah, but I'm
it's a corpse. Like
It's a creature.
yeah. But so you manage to pull this thing out and kind of get on the table. All the little pieces and components are kind of sitting out there. Or you're gonna say something like,
Well, let me share what I'm thinking a little bit, actually. So Zephyrus knows a little bit of what's been going down in the Underdark with that whole cult.
he can answer more of your question too, because I know he kind of got distracted with.
Yeah. My character rummaged through the files and everything. A little while back.
As you should.
Zephyrus, what do you know? Do you know anything about the Lord's Court from that city of Pike? Anything at all?
Nothing too remarkable, I don't suppose. I've met Lord on a couple of occasions. He's a fine enough man, and the Lord's Court itself seems competent. I don't agree with a lot of their processes and how they run the lands with their savory.
That's fair. I just wanted your insight a little bit.
In what way?
Well, my head's just a little foggy right now. I wanted to see maybe someone else's perspective on this, and feel free to chime in as well, guys. Maybe I just need more clarification on this. You see,
What can I do?
well, you see, we have past documents. I wasn't part of this, but Arthur and his previous companions, no longer here, found these in the Lord's Keep. And as I was going through them, a lot of them strike very familiar to me. Familiar in the way as the cultists down in the Underdark. These documents read of rituals where they would have to get hosts, willing hosts, these same components that we found down in the Underdark as well. And then later on, when we were all in the city, well, we went into the library. I wasn't part of going to the research section. Another restricted section. Anyways,
There's no second restricted section.
I'll put a pin in that. There's history saying, well, funny enough, no history on how the lords created cities or came into power, what they used, what they did. It just kind of glazes over the fact. Have you not seen that?
In the history books within this region. you
Correct.
mean? Yes.
It just says that they came into power, such leadership, bravery, but they never explain how.
Shadowstone. you're referring to?
Shadowstone, isn't it also the all that city of Pike? Did they glaze over that as well?
It was kind of all of it.
Yeah, it was all of it.
Like
So-
the basically the lore came into power, and the whole city of Pike was born, and then everything was kind of fine after that.
Would that archive that you just took out be able to assist in that?
I'm not sure.
Because I mean, that was about the magic of Shadowstone.
Are you guys talking about this in character?
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Yes,
I'm
I
yeah.
would too.
Yeah.
How long? When were the cities created? Founded, I should say.
The cities in the Freelands, you mean? There's a lot of questions in there. I'm sorry. So, the actual cities themselves, I believe, were... They were founded around 590, 593, 595 AA.
So that was like less than 100 years ago.
Oh, not even 100 years ago.
Yeah, like 50.
Yes. Because the Lord's only in his slightly past Middle Ages.
And this used to be a temple or a shrine to a goddess.
You did listen to the other ones, okay? Yes, the city itself used to be dedicated as a shrine to the goddess Zephyrus, the goddess of magic. The entirety of this city was built as a monument to her, and the Eye of Exwrath was the containment of her centrifuge of magic, where all magic spawned off from the region. It was her touching place, her pool where magic spawned. Now, things have happened and things have changed over the course of the centuries. One of the things that changed by certainty over the course of the past 100 years was the plague of the Deathwalkers. That laid waste and sent the entirety of the Jaw of Exwrath into a place of turmoil and despair. But, lo and behold, as the Holy Resurgence happened and Imperial rule began to come back into the lands, eventually the Lord and his courts reclaimed the ruins of these cities and they were reborn. And I know you bring it up.
Yeah, but did it?
The history books
Is there
do
any mention as to how he claimed power?
There is. And it's not going to be in the normal history books you read here.
Where can we attain that knowledge?
Is it in one of these gemstones?
It's not in one of the gemstones there. This knowledge is very carefully guarded.
Could it have been the other restricted section that you don't even know about?
How do you
There's no other restricted section. I know the entirety of this library, and if what you're talking about is what I believe was the extra room that you're speaking of, there's a private meeting quarters. I've used it on some occasions to speak to high-ranking individuals.
Yes, underneath the floors, behind the staircase. Not a staircase, a bookshelf.
Yes, there's one behind the bookshelf. It is a secret meeting quarters. Yes.
They have stumbled upon it.
One doesn't just stumble.
One does. One can.
I just realized I was calling Lord of the Rings.
This is not simply.
One does not simply.
One does not plainly stumble into this area. Just
Well, one has.
Well, there is a point to that. If there is a secret place within a library, its access is restricted. Wouldn't you consider it a restricted section anyway?
Didn't you say something about
that is
scrolls being taken?
hard to refute.
So perhaps there are two restricted sections.
If
Correct.
you wish to catch me on semantics, you are correct.
Severus, what I was getting at, and yes, Cassian, you're correct. What I saw there were members of the Lord's Court.
Can't say I'm surprised, honestly.
It seemed like they were in a rush taking scrolls from the meeting. Everything.
From the experiences I've had there, they normally are populated by those who need it. When I rented it out, I rented it for a week. Met with some of the greatest minds from... Don't go telling people, because I don't want them thinking I was tied to the Imperial invasion. But we did have great minds come in from the Empire to converse about different workings and historical documents, and I brought some of mine and they brought some of theirs. That was actually how I made a breakthrough with the armies.
So just reserve the area.
So to tie it all back, what do you make of your army here?
Oh,
Can it be revivified?
most certainly can, I believe. I'm sorry. You asked one more question, but what was that? It was what actually happened, correct?
Well, yeah, yes, because everything that they found in the upper research session, all the history books there are just talking about the cities being constructed.
I will say, there used to be information in the restricted section, but it has since been removed. Because the information is not meant to be known. If you wish to know, I can tell you. But it will be considered my favor to you, and I will owe you no more. As I have been told not to mention any of this by the Lord and his courts.
We have a favor?
Well, it's either
I mean, I didn't know we had.
it's either the suit of armor or this valuable piece.
It is up to you. Either the information or we'll work something else out, but once I tell you this, I will consider our debts wiped.
Weren't you going to ask for help in the fight, though? Isn't that the purpose of us coming here? Of getting a magical item to assist you in your upcoming fight. We originally
like out of character. Like, was I asking for something specific?
You originally wanted to come here to. I'm really surprised I remember all this.
He's enlightened me, actually.
To see if you can get a potion of like undying or something because it was your friend you were fighting, and to make it so you could actually like paralyze him or make him think he's dead, and then or also now that he's showboating, something to potentially help you against that bullshit.
No, I got that covered, fam.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that was our original intent.
Yeah, I got the...
But also, he owed us a favor.
But yeah!
I got the biggie.
But I mean, it's not my favor, so I'm not going to answer. Like,
It is up to you what you prefer.
can I keep this?
It's not the favorite.
No, but are there more of these? Like the reading I mean, I have that you safely locked away your construct soul. So obviously the platform doesn't mean anything without the soul itself.
Roll persuasion. Carry on.
Just handed an iPad.
It's the first time accessing YouTube.
Yeah,
Crazy.
literally.
He's gonna look up
Internet
boobs.
access.
He's gonna look up boobs.
Boobs on YouTube search. Boob. It's a core mem.
So I rolled a 2 at first, and I have a -1, and I'm using my point of inspiration
Okay.
to reroll.
Good.
And I rolled a 17.
Okay.
So I rolled a 16
Okay.
for persuasion.
I have one extra. Maybe 2. But they need repair. I'm not going to try to chip you or rob you of anything. Most of the value is in that orb, and these things are basically just crystal ball holders unless they actually have a construct soul.
What are the odds of this
And
shit
the
actually
correct-
happening?
And the correct timings.
Right.
To hold.
I can fix one up for you. I don't know how much it will cost me to fix it, but I can fix one up for you. We can make an arrangement. However, you won't have any diamonds. You have to find diamonds.
That's fine.
Many of the diamonds over the course of time have actually been shattered and turned to diamond dust. But if you find ones that have inscriptions on them out in other places, you can very well use them and find information.
Perfect.
Or even if you find blank ones and they're sized perfectly, you should be able to inscribe information onto them for later keepings. I'm not sure if you've asked it everything it can do, but if you place text underneath it, it can actually transfer the majority of the text onto the actual sphere itself. And it does so in approximately 5 to 10 minutes for hours worth of readings.
It's very useful.
But it's if I can get it working, if we can agree on the price.
So I can have this one, and you're gonna create.
No. I need that to go through my archives. But you come back and we will discuss something. So, would you like the information or would you like to make another arrangement?
Okay, with information.
Information is power. Knowledge is power.
Tell us what you know.
As I mentioned, I was barred by the Lord's Court for making any mention of this, as this information has been deleted from archives, even the restricted sections. As it is commonly known that the Lord came into power, it's something that happened overnight. They make it out to be a mysterious and magical thing. That's not exactly what's happened. Partly because I was actually there when this happened. So, the Lord actually was part of an expeditionary group. And this group would go around essentially just searching out relics. The group later was renamed the Eclipse. Now, this organization was essentially just a group of individuals that would go around finding items. We found many of things. We found enchanted swords that contained sentient souls and beings. We found magical relics that would end up transcribing books and knowledge into information that could paralyze our foes. And then at some points as well, we ended up finding things where it contained magic that we couldn't even understand. Likely remnants of what was once Zephyrus magic roaming the entirety of this region. Decks of power, decks of many things. And a deck of many things was actually one of the final items that we found before the eclipse began to swap. You see, as the Lord ended up coming across this item, he wasn't the Lord at the time. He drew a card from the deck. Then in the hills beyond, he felt a calling apparently. A place, a sanctuary, a castle of his own. And it was around that time that the Eclipse stopped being a group that was looking for artifacts. Maybe they were never always just looking for artifacts. Only reason I was with them was in search of a greater power and greater knowledge. More magical understanding of Severia and her influence over the region. I've always thought it could have always been more devious. Maybe I was just an ignorant young boy searching for a greater knowledge. The Lord at the time was younger than me. They did talk of weird things. They have a fascination and curiosity of old demonic beings and artifacts. But after he drew that card, they removed me from the group. They said they were being disbanded. They were on to bigger and better things. And after that, I decided to make my way over to a city. It was known to be a place of opportunity and make a name for myself. See, at that point, I've accumulated so much vast magical items and materials and knowledge. I started to become known as not just Zephyrus, but anyway, sorry. It's not why we're talking. As time passed, I ended up finding my keep here. The story became that I was actually a man who traveled from the Imperial lands, far and wide. I was the powerful, magical sorcerer and wizardess. While this is true, the origins were made to conceal what the Eclipse told me I needed to. We were still friends at that, and I would hope our friendship still lasts something to this day. But that boy that traveled around with us, he stumbled on something great. A castle and a keep, and a group backing him, essentially. They ended up spawning the entirety of the Three Lands off of that. And to this day, I do not wish to cross the Lord or his court. While I think the Eclipse is far gone and disbanded, I'm sure remnants of the members remain in the Lord's quarters. Even in his younger years, he relied on a great deal of counsel. So, the Lord's origins were not as the songs say, not as the records would say either. No magic in nature, and by chance and happenstance. The Lord was chosen for a great reason, perhaps. By the gods, divine. Gods do I know. But what I do know is what I saw and experienced. I've been told to take that to my grave. And as I would have died had it not been for your interference. I think it's fair to say my grave was made and you saved me from it. So, while I thank you for my life and I give you this information, considering the fact I would be dead, I very much hope that all of you take this to your graves as well. As you rob me from the grave.
Sounds like the
So it was just a draw from the.
magical deck of cards.
Would I know what the deck of many things is from my play?
You would know the deck.
Okay.
You read about it in books.
Just a card draw from the deck.
Do you know where the deck is?
I would assume that perhaps the Lord put it into hiding. Perhaps he kept it with him. I'm not aware. I mean, a magical item of that power, when the few times I've been to the Lord's court, he had magical items on display, but I never saw the deck. Though he does like to show off, and he is rather...
Look at me. Stop.
For the Lord does like to show off, and he likes to make his presence known at all times. It would make sense that he would keep it on display, but given how powerful and violent it was, I could see him maybe wanting to keep it out of reach of members of his court. Just imagine if perhaps a servant were to draw a card. That would be terrible. Or a peasant coming into the Lord's chamber. Tragedy.
So it's safe, probably safe to assume that if the Lord came across this deck several decades ago, that he did not dispossess it. In fact, probably does still have it near,
In some
or under
capacity.
protection of some sort.
Absolutely.
So going and looking for it otherwise would be silly. But at least we probably know who's in possession. Rather than it being lost.
By the sounds of it, looks like the Lord followed Regina after that.
Drew the deck.
Morgina, that name.
Well, that was from the temple.
It is from the temple, but
Like with the Deathwalkers and all.
some of the members of the Eclipse made mention of Morgina and Thartos.
Yes.
That was years and years ago.
Well, looks like they're very active in the Lord's courts. I mean, it's written all here in the documents and everything else. I'm like, look for yourself. These pages mention all the ingredients and items that they needed for this sort of ritual.
He's gonna be sitting there, kind of like reading through some of the papers. Yeah.
All too similar of what we saw down there, is it not?
It sounds exactly the same. What you say might have been years ago, I feel like we just witnessed days ago. It was all talk about Thartas and Morgina. Two together.
So they might not have known this when I was down there, but I am actually fluent in Undercommon. And this is what they were trying to do. But when I was with that party, we were searching down for different relics. They never performed anything like this.
Never made mention of it.
They made mention of how the brother was wronged and how Thartos is in eternal hiding. I don't believe there was mention of any rituals.
Seems
We did find a text, however. Like, was this summaries? We did find this text right here. We found this text. This was held by people in the party. Missing
Time
the
of
Lord has the
ritual
original.
curse sealing.
Yes, Damnation Tomb to the Curse Sealing Ritual. That was one of the texts that we found. Was in
Well,
an
it
old
seems
temple.
there was a playbook. At least from documents recovered from the Lord's Keep in Pike. And it is the same exact ritual that the cultists of Morgina were trying to perform while we were there.
I will tell you this. There is actually a man who might know about this. I'm reluctant to even tell you, but your curiosity and interests make no mention of me. He was a man who once walked with me. He was part of this collection organization that we were a part of. The Eclipse before it began to change. After his time, it being disbanded, he actually headed off to the monasteries. He's been in the monasteries now for past 5-6 decades.
Well, monastery. Travel to.
Do you know the monasteries in the region? I'm not familiar by name. But if you tell me, I'm sure I'd recognize it.
Well, what is your former colleague's name?
I'll pull up real quick.
all this is going on, I would have been kind of taking a couple of the health potions that are laying around in this room. Just kind of drinking and listening at the same time.
Yeah,
I have
you'd
no
be
idea
able-
what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, you'd be able to do that.
How many are in the room?
Looks like full potions. It looks like it's basically just potion of healing, but it looks like there's 5 on the wall.
Are what again?
2d4 plus 2, I believe.
Sounds about right.
Okay, so did you find the name you wanted to give me or no? Or the name, the temple you wanted to give me?
Yeah. The only temple that I would know of is the temple of Shiakya. That's where I train. I mean, it's a temple.
Temple of what?
Shia. Ugh, I'm butchering that name. Spell it. Shiakya.
Xiaxian.
That's where I
That
trained with monks.
sounds like it could be it, actually.
Really?
Yes.
You recollect his name? I'm actually trained. I actually
Yes.
trained there for quite some time with the monks.
I don't know what you would go by in temple, but his original name was Soren Thalor.
Sorin. So Sorrin. Then Thalor.
Can you describe what Soren looks like? Or might, what do you recall?
Decades ago, I could tell you what he looked like. He was a good friend. He was always a shorter fellow. For a human, he was even short. Remember when he was standing full upright, he came up to about only here on me.
Watch you kind of like straightens his hunched spine a little bit and puts it about there. You recognize it's probably around like 5'3", 5'2".
At the time, he had thick black hair. He had a hazel eye with hints of green in it. It always shocked me that he decided to go into this line of work. He was nimble, sure, but given his stature, decorum, and physical appearance, I figured he'd be way better off performing as a bard or something. But I suppose musical arts never interested him. As for what he looks like now, I couldn't even tell you. I wouldn't even know if he still has his hair on his head, being a part of the dynasty.
I wouldn't recollect anything anymore with sort of description, especially with the eyes.
Sure, roll a history with advantage because you did spend a couple months there. Or a couple years, or however long it was. You spent time there.
History 13.
Yep. You were there for a while, but you don't remember getting to the point where you're able to receive like full enlightenment. But you do remember there being a monk that was actually kind of ahead of the final culmination of your training in the monastery. And this particular monk was one that people referred to as Sor.
So, name does sound familiar to me. Yes, actually. This monk. One of the heads. You oversaw towards the end of that year. Oh, as I was trying to train for enlightenment. Am I know it?
Was his name? Did he
Sword.
still go by Sor?
Sword. They call him Sword. Sword.
Headmaster Sor. He never went by Sor around us, but that could be him. Headmaster Sor?
That's what I remember. It's close to Sword and Thalvor, I can think of. Carlos, thank you, Zephyrus.
Thank you. I wouldn't be alive if it wasn't for you.
Glad we were able to show up in the nick of time.
You and I both.
I'll figure it out. I really don't have anything else of you. Do I know you had your party here?
Oh, God, yes.
I believe this is more or less your whole pet project.
Yes, I will actually not fix this here. Can you grab me some of those burlap blankets? I need to cover this up. Nobody can know that this is here. Last thing I want is anyone coming into the city and trying to take this. Do not let anyone know that this is here. The reason I kept it out of the city.
Well, if you need any assistance with it for any reason, we're around.
But of course.
And we'd be happy to drop by and
Well, I'm coming back.
make more acquaintance.
Absolutely. You're welcome at my shop at any time.
See his walls while we're here.
I will actually be at the fight, and I know what you have there on your wrist. I didn't have to see it. I could feel the magic pulsating off of it. I'll be there.
I'll be there in the fight.
I will
Lots of
have
people
money on you.
So whatever you have now on Reginald, you should double it.
Win.
Good money on this one.
I want this information to die with you, but keep your head intact a little longer.
Well, it's don't need to be dying anytime soon. Some time.
Yeah.
I must
Repeating
get back.
another green.
I must get back to my things. Hey, I'll escort you out. So he kind of just ushers you out.
How long will it take to fix this?
Come back in 2 days' time. I should have a better idea of whether or not it's complete.
As he kind of ushers you out into the main area, we'll go ahead and end there. All right. So thank you all very much for being here for this lovely day of a D&D, a lot more of the role playing and a couple fun little things. But we will be back at it again here next week, and we'll actually probably have Reginald fighting for his life. So it will be a fun little combat encounter where Reginald will either win or he will die.
He's gonna win. He's gonna win, confirmed.
Win or die. So
He's gonna
yeah.
win.
We'll go ahead and let people place some bets and everything in the chat. Maybe, who knows? Who knows?
We'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah.
But thank you all very much for hanging out with us, and we'll be back here next week. Don't forget to follow us on Twitch and then at Millennial Tavern on YouTube. Thank you for the subs and the follows, and we'll be seeing you later.
Hi guys, thanks for joining.
See y'all.